It's a day that exemplifies the special relationship between Australia and New Zealand. And tonight, for the first time, Australia's Indigenous football code is in the land of the Shaky Isles for premiership points for the first time. Hope you're having a great Anzac Day with us on Grandstand AFL. Quentin Hull standing on foreign soil at the Westpac Stadium on a beautiful night in the Kiwi capital. There is a bit of dew on the ground here, but a very good crowd has built up here as St Kilda run out onto the Wellington Stadium with the Swans already on the ground going through some warm-ups. A real night of firsts here in the Kiwi capital. There have been plenty of trips overseas in the history of Australian football, but never in the VFL, AFL has there been a game on foreign soil for premiership points, and that's certainly what we're going to be bringing you tonight after Essendon's terrific win at the G against Collingwood. We hope you can stick around for what is going to be a night that's long remembered, not only in the history of Australian football, but the history of Australian sport and the relationship between Australians and Kiwis on this Anzac Day 2013. I'm at ground level, not too far away from the official battalion and brigade that are going to go through the Anzac Day ceremony. We've also got Samantha Jade and Stan who are going to perform for us. And it is a terrific atmosphere in this venue, which is affectionately known as the Cake Tin, with its yellow seats inside and its metallic appearance outside. So with the Anzac ceremony about to get underway, I'm going to leave foreign soil to get back to a position more familiar in the commentary box, where we'll find Dan Lonigan.
Evening, Q. Great to be here in Wellington. Have turned it on. Good crowd. Lots of people on the plane today over from Australia, St Kilda and Sydney supporters. But the people of Wellington have got behind this match. The Cake Tin, as we're going to affectionately call it tonight. What a great name it is. 34,000 full capacity. I know the AFL are hoping for around 25,000. Adam Ramanauskas, Tim Stevens from AFL New Zealand with us tonight as well. Some team news. Lewis Jetta, whose form has been not up to scratch so far for the Sydney Swans. Interesting move by the Swans. Probably not surprising when you look at what he's delivered in recent times. He will be the sub, and we'll confirm the sub for the Saints shortly, but I think it's young Josh Saunders, one of their two debutants today with Brody Murdoch. The Saints have got 5 players who played less than 5 games each in this side tonight, indicating St Kilda have started on the path of obviously restructuring their list, rejuvenating their list, and even going through a rebuilding phase after a fairly ordinary start to the season. Just 1 win from 4 matches. The Swans a bit disappointing last week, but did win their first 3 matches of the season, and they would obviously be hoping for a much better performance tonight. And this historic, as Quentin said, first ever match on foreign soil for premiership points in the AFL between the Saints and also the Swans. As we welcome our expert commentators tonight, great to have him with us. Adam Ramanauskas, delighted too that the Bombers have had a big win today at the G-Runner.
Absolutely wrapped. Obviously we got to watch a fair bit of the game today, so a fantastic day at the G, and looking forward now to a fantastic night here at the Cake Tin. To paint the picture for our listeners, this is a fantastic stadium. It holds about 35,000. There's plenty of people coming in, and it's probably a typical wintry night at the MCG in the middle of the season. It's nice and cold. It's probably about 15 odd degrees. There's a bit of dew on the ground, but conditions are perfect. Not a breath of wind. And look, absolutely, I just can't wait. The first game of AFL football for 4 points on foreign soil. I've been fortunate enough to play a couple of games over in London, which is probably not quite the same there. We played hungover quite a couple of times there, Dan. So
preparation a bit different.
Preparation a lot different. So this is I can't wait. And Anzac Day, Australia, MCG. Now we're over in Wellington, New Zealand for the last part of the day.
Well, we'll talk more about what's on offer here tonight as the night goes on. Both teams playing for the Simpson-Henderson Trophy. It's my pleasure, though, to welcome as part of our commentary team tonight, and also wonderful to have our friends from Radio Sport New Zealand with us too for the commentary tonight. Tim Stevens. Tim is a board member with AFL New Zealand. He was lucky enough to be out here in the curtain raiser match tonight as an umpire. He loves his AFL, and it's with great pleasure we have him part of our commentary team.
Thanks very much, guys. Absolutely fantastic to be here. And one of the things about the stadium that not a lot of people know is that the first ever game of competitive sport here was an AFL game. It was the pre-season game between Adelaide and Brisbane back in 2000, and who would have thought that only 13 years later we're here, almost packed out. The crowds come in, as we heard from Adam, an absolutely fantastic night, and just great to be here.
What's the build-up been like?
Well, look, St Kilda have done an absolutely fantastic job, and Sydney have certainly done their part as well. They have really got in behind this. They've done a lot of work promoting the game in Wellington. You couldn't move for the last 3 or 4 days around Wellington without seeing Swannies and Saints scarves. It's been absolutely fantastic. Both sides have done a great job, and Wellington's really got behind it as well.
That's the great thing about it, Tim. People would have known about this fixture a long, long time ago. They would have saved for it. They would have booked their flights early, and they thought, well, I mightn't have been to New Zealand before. I mightn't have been to beautiful Wellington. Haven't had a chance. And I've been talking about it a bit in the last hour. Came by the taxi. I went past the Basin Reserve. What a quirky, beautiful little cricket ground that is. I would have had a chance if they love their sport to see that. People would have booked a holiday to come and have a look at Wellington and the surrounding areas and get ready for the football.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic opportunity for Australians to come across, take a long weekend, and really get to see a little bit of Wellington, the capital. It's also fantastic. I think we've got 4,500 Australians over here, so they've really got behind it as well. And fortunately, I think the weather's come to the party. It's an absolutely beautiful night, and here's to a cracking game.
And there's no wind, wind.
Dan, 2 hours and 55 minutes on a plane, so it's a shorter trip than Perth, so there's no reason not to come over here and watch the football. Okay, you've got to go through customs and all that, but look, absolutely, it's just great. This is where I think this is where our game's going. We're going to see some games on overseas, and this is the first one. And what a place! You can feel the atmosphere already in this place. I think if we've got a close game, it will be terrific out there tonight for the players.
You've also got to remember when you go through customs, and you want to go in the electronic queue to go through customs, you've got to get a little form, a little ticket to go through customs. Otherwise, it can be a long process. But if that's the only thing that's causing issues, I'm sure that everyone will have a great night. And that was yours truly, by the way.
We're going to have a good night. You're here, Dan, and we're all safe and we're all ready to go.
Well, that's right.
Tim, I want to ask you, with your local knowledge, just being on the boundary line there for the opener, I could really feel the dew. Give us the local knowledge on how slippery it's going to be out there tonight.
Yeah, we also had a couple of showers earlier on. Fortunately, after the dawn service, it was absolutely beautiful here this morning for the dawn service. But just late morning, early afternoon, there was a few showers. That water has stuck around. One of the things about having no wind is it wasn't able to dry it off, so it is a little bit slippery. Underfoot the ground is very hard, but there is a little bit of slipperiness around, and I think the players will have the long studs in, and I'm sure that they will be more than up to the task. And look, let's be honest, a little bit of dew versus some wind, I think we'll take the dew.
Can we just quickly, guys, have a look at the games, or the game actually, before we have our Anzac Day ceremony? Lewis Jenner, you're not surprised that he's a sub?
No, not at all. He's had a really slow start to the season, and that was evident last week against Geelong. He was probably non-existent in that game last week, so not surprised at all. They want him to come on, have probably an impact in that second half. I expect to see him probably about halfway through the third quarter, where he just looks like he's probably short of a run. He's probably looks a little unfit. He hasn't got that normal spring in his step, so not surprised at all. Look, we're going to go down now and have the last post and the national anthem, so this is a really special moment for the players, but for everyone, Dan.
And we need to talk about this young St Kilda side. Fascinating to see how they go tonight, all these young players in this team against the Swans, who, as we mentioned, overrun by the Cats last week in a high quality game in Sydney. We're just about ready for the ceremony to mark Anzac Day, and the crowd continues to build, which is fantastic for the Code, fantastic for Wellington as well. People, as Tim mentioned, getting right behind this venture.
The Guard is with us in honour of the Anzacs on Anzac Day, and all those who followed them in the service of New Zealand and Australia. The Australian Football League invites you to join in honouring the memory of New Zealand and Australia's servicemen and women who gave their lives for their nations. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service. Would you please stand for the Anzac observance? We welcome today Warrant Officer Dave Lark, Royal New Zealand Air Force, and the President of the Royal New Zealand Returned and Services Association, Lieutenant General Don McIver, CMG, OBE.
E kore rātou, e kore hekete. Pēnei e tātou, kua māhui nei. E kore hoki rātou, e kore hara. E kore hoki rātou, e noi kore. Aha kōpē e hea, e nā hōrikore o te wā. E te hekena atu o te rā. Tai noa ki te āranga mai e te ata. Ka mōmahara tonu tātou kia rātou. Ka mōmahara tonu tātou kia rātou.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them. Lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the Australian and New Zealand national anthems, to be performed by Samantha Jade and Stan Walker.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts, a beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage a
the wonderful talents. Samantha Jade, Stan Walker got their starts on Australian television talent shows over the last couple of years. They can certainly sing. Stan Walker with the New Zealand national anthem, Samantha Jade with the Australian national anthem.
Not much gets in the category of the MCG on Anzac Day with 90,000, but wow, the atmosphere here, and you could just see the great smiles on the faces of the locals here. The expats, the Aussies that have made the trip across the ditch, that was type of scene setter. Their hairs on the back of the neck, Rema.
The New Zealand national anthem there, just hearing all the New Zealanders in the crowd just singing along with that, that was just terrific.
I think certainly the numbers singing the crowd, singing the national anthem certainly indicated that Kiwis have got behind this game and come out in their droves.
I always remember going to a rugby union Bledisloe Cup match.
Yep.
My late father was there in the front, and he was laughing because all the New Zealanders behind him was singing like it was the greatest thing in the world. And I said, that's what they do, Dad. That's what they do. It's fantastic.
Well, the two captains are about to toss the coin. I wonder if they've got the two-up kind of time cost that we saw at the MCG.
Yeah, we did.
Just the regulation on the thumb and flipper in the air. Kieran Jack and Nick Revolt in the middle of the ground. And Kieran Jack's won the toss, and he's kicking to the city end of the cake tin in the first quarter. And after all of that, Ramo, we need to remember that, it's a massive day, particularly for St Kilda's season.
It's huge for St Kilda today, I think. Look, this is obviously a must-win game. They haven't started the season off particularly well. The Saints, they weren't great at all last week against the Bombers. Probably the margin at the end of that game last week may have flattered St Kilda a little bit, whereas probably on the other hand the Swans, they would have been really disappointed with their performance last week also. They got out to about a 3 or 4 goal lead against Geelong, and then Geelong just monstered them after half time, so they'll want to get back on track, and by the looks of it, I think this ground will really suit the Swans. It's of similar size to the SCG, where it's a short ground and not as wide as the SCG, so I expect a lot of contested football.
It's almost like the two Sydney grounds have been morphed. The shortness goal to goal of the SCG, but it's not a very wide ground as far as the wings are concerned, a bit like the Olympic Stadium at Homebush.
So look, I expect the Swans really try to make this a really contested game and utilise their big bodies that are in the centre ground. They'll want Mumford in there really wrestling away with McAvoy. Josh Kennedy, he'll love these conditions, a bit slippery, the ball on the deck. Jared McVeigh's been in terrific form. We're seeing Adam Goods. Adam Goods looks like he's going to start up on a wing. Dan Hanbury was in great form again last week, whereas the Saints, they'll be expecting big games out of David Armitage, Lenny Hayes, Jack Stephen, those real scrappers there. Expect probably Clint Jones is already going, he's going to stand next to Jared McVeigh. Jared McVeigh's been in sensational form to start this season, so really need to get a hold of McVeigh. We're hearing the countdown now to the game. The crowd is they're up and ready to go for this. We're all looking forward to it.
Well, Australia's Indigenous game goes abroad officially, Dan.
Yeah, it's a huge night, isn't it? Very exciting, and hopefully we get a close one. Swan supporters don't want that. Saints supporters don't want that. They want their team, obviously, to win comfortably. That's how it is in all elite sporting codes. But it's a spectacle, Tim, we want, isn't it? We want a really close match.
Very close match. Last kick, just after the siren, would be perfect.
Not asking much.
No. So Adam Good starting in the middle. Shane Mumford there. Jackson Hayes, as we thought he might be.
Richards to Revolt.
I think Armitage might get Josh Kennedy. Here's Quentin Hull on Grandstand AFL. We're in New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the ride.
The centre bounce across the ditch, and McAvoy gets up to tap down for the Saints. Hayes whacks it on his boot towards half forward for St Kilda. Not all that effective with the kick as it bobbles out towards the right half forward flank for the Saints. Goods is there along with Sard. Neither can really control it before the boundary line, and a throw in to be effected. So the Saints kicking to the left of your radio dial, or the northern end here in Wellington, as the ball's thrown in 50 from St Kilda's goal. Taken down by Hayes, he gives to Stephen. Stephen kicks a quick ball towards full forward. In the pocket, Kazitsky on return, almost took a mark. Strong defending there from Ramp to tackle the Saints ball winner there. Was it Jones? No, it was Del Santo coming by to pick up the footy. It's over the line and a throw in the forward pocket for the Saints.
Saints deep into attack on the outer side. We were broadcasting from Mumford there, trying to get a hand pass out. Murdoch on debut. Stevens a good hand pass. Carey a chance there. Shot at goal. Didn't quite have the carry for St Kilda. And it's picked up by Revolt. He gets the hand pass close to the line and it's rushed through for a behind. But it misses by Tom Lee, who was on Adelaide's list. And the Saints have the first score there behind. Sydney yet to score.
And the quick release was a long ball looking for Goods at left half back, but off fists it's over the boundary line. So St Kilda keep it at half forward with a throw in at right half forward for the Saints out on that eastern side of the field. McAvoy and Mumford bump bodies. Little kick clear of the congestion by Kennedy. Takes the ball to the wing. Picked up for the Saints though by Wright. Wright whacks it back into attack, but not a good kick. Out of bounds on the full and a free kick for Sydney at left half back. Amazing the amount of Sydney and St Kilda supporters we saw on the plains coming in, Dan, as the ball's driven from half back to the wing by the Swans off a pack. It's punched over the line and a throw in. And Ramo, we were able to find a pub in town so you could watch the Bombers go around.
We were. And
for the first half before we had to come here.
A great win, but I think we're going to see a lot of this tonight. A lot of stoppages, a lot of the ball going out of bounds, a lot of throw-ups. So this is our fourth one already within the first 2 minutes of the game. So very congested as we see.
Armitage receives from McAvoy, throws it on the boot and wobbles it for another boundary throw in. 55 out from the Saints goal.
So the Kiwis might feel at home. A lot of ruck and maul ball. Who's going to be good at the breakdown tonight?
Back into play, Mumford. McAvoy leaning in, wins it down. Jack leads in the race for the Swans. Defensive give to McVeigh. A handball to Nick Smith, gets closed down. St Kilda swarming hard. And there'll be another boundary throw in a further 10 metres closer to the Saints goal at the northern end. So it's one behind to St Kilda. Sydney yet to score, haven't been forward yet. Stevens spinning by, tried to take the tap, got it to Gary, lost control of it. A lot of players around the ball outside attacking 50. Kept alive momentarily by Kennedy for the Swans. Had his colours lowered by George Hall and Smith last week. There'll be a boundary throwing.
So just the one behind for the Saints. As it's tossed in, Revolt, third man up, double fisted inside 50. Jones is in the vicinity, but good attack on the football there by Smith to see the ball over the line for the Swans. So we're camped at that northern end, but St Kilda back inside attacking 50. Another throw in. Mumford and McAvoy jostle. Mumford got the first hand, or crashing through. Armitage tried to make it his own. It's still in the chop. Kennedy's battling hard for the Swans. It hasn't really moved far. It comes out Sydney's way. Goods breaks free and sets the Swans long towards half forward. He overkicks the ball though. He was looking there for O'Keefe, but chopping back, it was taken by Gilbert for the Fisher, should I say, for the Saints. He goes to Revolt. Revolt marks on the wing, and his short pass is good, and it's marked by Brodie Murdoch. Pick 40 in last year's national draft on debut. He whacks it on his left boot, a long ball towards full forward. Kaczynski in a 2-on-2, found the right spot and took a fine one clunk mark above his head.
Well, he needed that, Cozzy, because he hasn't been in the side to start this season, so that will give him a great deal of confidence. But what we've basically seen for the first 3.5 minutes is just pure congestion there. Adam Goods was able to win the football there at half back, but it was a really poor kick, just went straight to Sam Fisher. And good on Brodie Murdoch, first game, first kick, just gets the football in nice and long, and Kaczynski should capitalise on this goal now.
Trivia buffs, mark this in your mind. Justin Kaczynski on return kicks the first goal for the Saints in Wellington. Plenty of high fives as well. St Kilda 1-1-7 lead. Sydney yet to score on this historic night in Wellington.
Well, look, yeah, like I said, it was really good play there by the Saints. That ball was really congested there. Adam Goods should have done better with that kick, or he really should have taken the space in front of him. Very surprised to see Ryan O'Keefe in the first place being in that last line for the Swans. Usually that's Sam Reid there that will play that sort of role there. But well done to Cozzy. He's been, a lot of people said, is his career finished here? He's come back in, got the first goal of the game. That should give him really the world of confidence for the rest of the game moving forward now.
So well done to the Saints. Swans have hardly touched it. Mumford was holding on to his opponent, going for a loose ball in the middle. It's Lenny Hayes, last year's best and fairest winner. The champ delivers now forward of the centre to the former Swan, Trent Dennis Lane. Marks for the Saints, doing all the attacking inside 50. Oh, Gords bashes into Matt, and a lack of talking for Sydney. At ground level, Smith gets swamped, loses control of it. Hayes puts the body on the line, taps it out. Could have been pushed forward in a tackle. McVeigh's there in a standing tackle as well. He tries to shove it out. Congestion everywhere. Emerging young Ross for the Saints. Handball to another youngster right. Kicks to full forward, doesn't have the carry. Revolt was the target and knocked away by Ramp, the third gamer for Sydney.
We're 6 minutes into this quarter, and Sydney haven't even had one inside 50. They haven't even had a pass centre yet, so St Kilda absolutely doing all the attacking.
Mumford, Kennedy and Grundy combined. Ramp, his rush kick is pulled from the goal mouth, and it's marked by Sebastian Ross, who hasn't kicked a goal this year, just his third game of league footy. Part of the GWS jigsaw as far as his journey. Well, he played his first game against GWS, should I say. Picked up in the draft 2 years ago, and on the left boot he kicks the second goal for the Saints. So Seb Ross takes St Kilda to 2-1-13 to Sydney's nothing.
And what you like to see, they're capitalising on the opportunity here, St Kilda, early in this game. You know, we're 7 minutes now into the quarter, and St Kilda have had all the possession in their forward half. They've got the 2 goals, important 2 goals. It should give them a lot of confidence because, as I said, last week they weren't good at all in terms of early in the game against Essendon. This week, you can see their attack on the body, you can see their attack on the football. They really want it, and you know, the opening 2 goals of the game should give them a hell of a lot of confidence moving forward now.
So great start by the Saints. Pressure on the Swans early on. Pike is up. He beats McAvoy. Rode by Kennedy. Tries to get that big body free. They really do pin him. What are you liking so far, Tim?
Well, I think the Saints are doing everything right in terms of getting this crowd behind them. Wellington crowds are very well known for getting behind the teams, and if they keep this up, they'll be very happy with the home fans.
Tapped down by McAvoy, shoved away Kennedy as he tried to get boot to ball. Armitage is in the middle. He kicks into the body of McVeigh, ricochets to Jack for the Saints. He kicks to half forward, but cut off by Gilbert. Feeds a hand pass to Robertson. The ex-Docker kicks the Saints to Kaczynski. Sticky fingers, no. Closing speed by Grundy. Ensures that Cossie couldn't quite hang on out of bounds on the outer wing.
Are you saying the people of Wellington are front runners, Tim? They like the winners.
No, they're sports fans through and through. They just love getting behind their team, and if the Saints keep this up, they will be right behind them.
Now there's a free kick away from the boundary throw-in, and it's going to be Sydney's ball. I didn't pick that up, but Josh Kennedy has been thrown the football, and now he's being marched down towards the attacking 50. What was that for? Excellent question.
Well, I reckon there's a potentially an interchange infringement here.
And we're on the opposite side of the ground to the interchange gate, so...
Because you look where that football went out of bounds, and then now you look where the 50-metre penalty has got Josh Kennedy too. I think it's an interchange infringement by the Saints.
Well, the man on the mark's about 45 metres out, so Kennedy on his right boot from just inside the paint of 50, drives it beautifully. That's a fine, handsome right foot drop punt to open Sydney's account across the ditch. St Kilda 2-1-13. The Swans won straight through 9 minutes. If you just tuned in, it was a 46-point win to the Bombers at the MCG. 18-13, 121 to 10-15, 75.
Very good runner, isn't he? A goal every game, and he kicked 29 last year.
Look, he's turned into an absolute super player, Josh Kennedy. You know, Hawthorn will be obviously they'll be ruining letting him go. But he's came up to Sydney and just established himself as one of the absolute elite midfielders in the competition. You know, 190, 192 centimetres, but he's 96 kilos. He is a monster of a man.
Yeah, very, very big man. just gets his arms free all the time. Pike taps it down, but didn't really get it to his team's advantage. Stevens at 1-2 with Hayes. Back to Stevens, and now Robertson on the broadcast wing. A high up and under from Dylan Robertson. Fisted down by Smith of the Swans. Tapped out by McVeigh. Sockered forward though by Jones of the Saints. Loose ball. Stevens will pounce. No, he won't. He'll soccer it inside 50 like the Wellington Phoenix. Chance for Lee. Goes in hard for the Saints. Hand pass comes out to Revolt. Off the edge of the boot. Looking for Dennis Lane. Watching his man. Allows it to spill to the back to Pike. Dennis Lane's former teammate. Wobbles a kick outside defence at 50. Great tap on the run under pressure. O'Keefe to Hanbury. Around that outer wing. 2-on-1 against the Swans. Everett did well to make a contest to allow Goods in to get a hand pass to Hanbury wide, and then hits the chest of McGlynn as the Swans go forward, trailing by 7 points.
McGlynn kicks to full forward, and numbers with the Saints there. Gilbert takes a relatively uncontested mark with Reid buffeted out of the contest. Gilbert's support is Montagna in the right back pocket. A long kick from Montagna to the wing. Nice work from Grundy to get in front there. Brings it down. Parker underneath for the Swans and chips across the half forward line. Mark taken by Bird. Centre half forward. Just beyond his best kick. So he launches it long towards the goal mouth. Again, Gilbert caught behind but out muscles Reid. And that's a fine contested defenders. One-on-one mark there in the goal mouth. Or was it Stanley on that occasion? No, it was Gilbert. It was Gilbert, yep.
He's put a lot of blonde in the hair during the week. Kicks towards Revolt. Another one who's very blonde. He takes the mark on the second grab. One Queenslander to another. And St. Nick marking for St Kilda. Front of our commentary position. Kicks towards half forward. Almost taken by young Murdoch. Kept alive by the Swans. Good play Parker to get it out to Mumford, who fell down. But Grundy then receives to Jack. Scyther's a kick across the middle of the ground. The switch on from Hanbury. Hand pass Everett looking for Armstrong, who overruns it. They still might get out of there, Sydney, although Hanbury's run down on a tackle outside the centre square on the outer wing. And it's still going. In the end, the umpire takes an eternity to call for a bounce. Does call for a bounce as players disperse from the contest. And they go to the interchange bench with St Kilda 2-1-13. The Swans, courtesy of a Kennedy 50-metre penalty, just one straight 6.
Koziski at the coalface got it out there to Stephen, and he gives it to a man who's wrapped up as soon as he had the football there. That was young Murdoch. The ball's rushed inside 50 for the Swans, but wide and over the boundary line. As Gilbert and Reid there are battling again.
Well, two important wins to Gilbert really early in this game. He's undersized against Sam Reid, but taken 2 marks in the contest against Reid to start the game.
Whistle at the throw-in, free kick to Mumford. Well, both he and Koziski were wrestling, and in the eyes of the umpire, we should go to our umpire, Tim. Those ruck infringements are tough, aren't they, at times?
Sometimes I think they toss a coin, but I'm sure they saw something in that.
That's Tim Stevens, our local expert, who's an umpire here, a former New Zealand international player, as we watch Shane Mumford kick on the right boot from 50. Slight angle to the left. He's left it on the near side, and it's a minor score. So the goal is now, one goal is now the difference. 1-1 plays 2-1. Saints in front. We've travelled 13 minutes in Wellington on Grandstand AFL.
Going back to the 1970s, Shane Mumford, the handlebar moustache and the long sideburns. Del Santo gets a screen as he plays into himself. Handballs to Dempster. Hemmed into Revolt now. On the left, skidding kick is no good, but Reid couldn't take it cleanly. Hanbury's there. He fumbles as well, as Quentin said, and Rama a little bit chewy. Then gets the hand pass to Ramp. Hand pass too fierce for Richards. Has to lay a tackle on Revolt, who's at half back for the Saints. Had it dislodged by the All-Australian Richards. He goes to ground. There'll be a bounce. Right half forward for the Swans. Heading to the city end in this term. Tapped down by Mumford. He lost his footing as well. Bursting through Murdoch. Under pressure for St Kilda in his first game. At the back it spills to Ross, but his kick's no good. Hurried one. Richards marks at half back for the Swans.
He gives it off to to Heath Grundy, and then on to Smith, and Smith transfers to left half back, and the mark is taken by Ramp. Ramp on the corner of the centre square, drives long towards half forward. Mumford the target, but he had a couple of Saints against him, and St Kilda win out as Geary has the football. He's pressured, and it's over the line. And they had 2-on-1 there, Fisher giving to Geary, but Geary unable to create. Throw in at left half forward for Sydney. Saints 2-1, Swans 1-1. Again, Kazitsky and Mumford lock horns. No free kick there. Jack underneath it. Pressured, lost it. Stephen has it for the Saints. Gives to Jones. He gives on to Hayes, and Hayes drives the Saints towards half forward. No one there with the kick. At the back, it's Matner, and he's got plenty of time. And the old partner in crime, Reggie's there. Heath Grundy to link with Marty Matner.
Yeah, it'll look alike. Kicks towards Goods, but got shoved out of it too easily by Stanley on the broadcast wing. He kicks inside 50. Mark not taken. Grundy did well to bring it to ground. Got it to Smith, who took the spillage, and handballs to Matner, who's fumbling. He's battling this year, Marty Matner, at the moment. Did well enough in the end to avoid the tackle, and handball to Smith. Spiral punts a wobbler into the middle. Sydney have the numbers. Kennedy couldn't take it cleanly. And there's going to be a free kick to the Swans because O'Keefe got shoved late. He's on the left. He loads up inside 50. Not great delivery through the hands of Mumford and Kaczynski, who wins the footy. Handballs back into traffic. Geary's under the pump. 25 metres out from the goal. The Saints are defending. Handballs to Robertson. Oh, does roll the bump. Hanbury off Dylan Robertson. And then kicks towards a teammate on the outer side, looking to run onto it. He couldn't. He had it fisted away by Everett. And it'll be a boundary throw in at half forward for the Swans, who are 1 straight 6, working their way into the game. St Kilda 2-1-13 on Grandstand AFL. We're in Wellington, the first international match in Australian rules for premiership points.
Well, Tom Lee's got the free kick here. What we're seeing is St Kilda are committing a lot of numbers to the contest and to the stoppage, and then what they're doing, Sydney are just sitting back and holding their back 6 at the moment. So when St Kilda win that stoppage, which will be more often than not, they've got to run the ball through handball, because we've seen then Lenny Hayes kicked long and just went straight to Heath Grundy. So they need to think more through those situations when they're coming through, particularly the centre of the ground, because they're just going to see a sea of red and white when they look up.
Well, Lee went long, but the Swans again able to take the mark, but it's gone back over the boundary line. Thrown in on the outer side. Armstrong wins a hard ball for the Swans. Got a quick hand pass to Pike. He on to Hanbury, then on to Kennedy, but all under pressure near the centre of the ground, and the umpire finds a free kick, and it's going St Kilda's way. Jack Stephen has started the year really well. He got his body under that contest to win a free kick in the bullseye. He kicks very wide to the right half forward flank, and Lee Montagna doesn't like that service as it skids on the dewy turf over the line, and Lee Montagna looks back as his arms out, gesticulating in disappointment with the service coming from the middle of the ground. 2-1 to 1-1. St Kilda leads Sydney.
Yes, needs to be better. Pike taps it defensively. Taken by Parker. Hand pass no good. Intercepted by Willow the Wissard. Kicks around the body. But in the way, Grundy attacking hard. Cuts it off at half back for the Swans. Brings it out at the broadcast side. Armstrong will run onto it now, the former Crow. He's at half back. Revolt in pursuit. Hits Goods on the chest. Virtually on the wing. Stanley playing on him. Goods looking to kick up the line, the dual Brownlow medalist. Loads up. Probing kick towards half forward. Jude Bolton has got good hands, the veteran. He's kicked 9 goals this season so far. He takes the mark. Attacking side of the wing. Game 306. Pops a kick inside 50. Pike crashes the pack. At the Rove side, a long way from home. Takes it for the Saints. Kicks to the wing. Revolt had it fisted away gently by Richards, who finds the boundary. And it'll be thrown back into play. It's still St Kilda Lullen scoring here, 2-1-13. The Swans 1-1-7 earlier today. Essendon winning the Anzac Day number 19 by 46 points over the Magpies. David Zaharakis won the Anzac Day medal.
Ball thrown in on the western wing. Kennedy and Hayes battling. Kennedy was able to just hand pass to McVeigh. He to Armstrong. He to Parker. And Parker just with a bit of space. Defensive side of the wing now kicks to half forward. Athletic spoil coming from Stanley, who flew and fisted away. Ground level right picks up for the Saints. He hands it to Montagna. He on to Jones. Jones kicks from the wing. Short pass which finds its target. It'll be driven forward by Murdoch, who turns. He's got a man running through half forward. Mark taken by Geary. Geary unloads from 55. Oh, it's pretty close to the line. The goal umpire's going to give it a goal, I think. Richards was close to, well, I think beyond the line when he marked it.
I thought he was.
Both the field and goal umpire are having a chat. And we're going up to the screen.
Yeah, look, I think Teddy Richards, well, you're going to find he's over the line here. It was really good play there by the Saints to bring that football back through the centre of the ground, and a very smart kick there by the first gamer in Brody Murdoch there to give it to Geary, who I think you're going to find has kicked this goal here.
Well, just seeing the replay, Nick Revolt, all the goal umpire could see was the number 12 on the Roos back, because he went straight in the vision of the goal umpire. This is a really hard call.
Yeah.
Because the goal umpire's got absolutely no vision of it whatsoever.
And see, I'm not convinced this is working because it takes a long, long time. I know they've got to try and get it right.
Well, why hasn't the boundary umpire been asked for an opinion here?
Mark Pate.
Mark Pate.
I thought it dipped, but I still thought, oh, it's just gone over the line. Richards with the reprieve, pops the pass into the back pocket to Malcheski, stalked by Montagna, has to kick under some duress towards the wing. Malcheski, Pike goes up, slaps to the front, rode by Parker, spins in and out of tackles with a hand pass to Jude Bolton, also under pressure. Parker soccers forward, good play to Reid, handball to Jack on the outside, look for an open goal, well smothered by Stanley. Jack kept running, there's no one there for support. Stanley drags him down from behind, 3-on-1. Reid arrives late now, loose ball, Saints looking to clear, and they do through Murdoch, who's been impressive on debut in the opening 20 minutes of his league career. His brother Jordan's been doing okay for the Cats, and it'll be a boundary throw-in, originally from Glenelg via southeast South Australia. There's going to be a free kick. It'll go to the Swans from the ruck contest.
Well, it's Mumford again here. Let's see if he's learnt anything after that first kick. He kicked that first one like a true ruckman. If I was Dan Hanbury, I'll be running around there. He can easily run around here on his left foot here, Hanbury, because no St Kilda player is there. But there, I think Big Mummy here is going to have the shot for goal.
At right half forward, such an important member of this Sydney Swans side. The former Cat, one of 7 players from other teams in this Sydney side, and he has pushed it to the left-hand side at the City end.
It's a good point you make, Dan, about Mumford. I think he's a real barometer for the side. I think last week, you've seen he had no impact on the game, and the Swans really struggled around the contest in that second half. So Mumford at his best is just one of the most aggressive ruckmen in the competition, and that's what the Swans love, because they love to create as many stop-play situations as possible.
A couple of chip marks for the Saints, and now Revolt, who is deep in defence, kicks it out towards left half back looking for Jones, but Jared McVeigh was there to spoil, and the ball over the boundary. St Kilda 2-1-13, Sydney 1-2-8. 22 minutes travel in the first term at Wellington from the clearance. Hayes underneath for the Saints, gives to Jones, a pressured kick towards the wing. Armstrong first there for Sydney, couldn't mark. Malcheski crashes through. It's kicked off the ground by Bird. This is messy stuff. It's very slippery out there. There's a whistle on play and a free kick going St Kilda's way. I think that was against Parker for high, was it? Nonetheless, it's a free kick to Lenny Hayes at left half back. So the veteran, his kick is smothered by the man on the mark, Parker, who picks it up and just stumps it on his boot towards full forward. 3-on-3 contest. It's fisted away from the group of players. Hanbury comes through, can't pick up. Kicked off the ground by Ross of St Kilda. From half back to the middle of the ground, but Reid first there for Sydney. He's pressured by Robertson, and the hand pass is stolen by Revolt. It's really slippery stuff. Nice hands from Geary, though. He tries to get it to right close to the line. You can see the players sliding with momentum with a metre and a half or so every time they go to ground. It's over the line on the outer side.
Yeah, look, like I said, the conditions are middle of the winter in Melbourne. There's dew on the ground. It's cold, but it's very, very still.
Pike taps down to Jude Bolton, hooks around the body. Goods had the fist applied from behind by Fisher. Good roving by Robertson, now to Nathan Wright in his third game to Stephen and Hayes. Receiving a hand pass close to the boundary, kicks to the wing. Jude Bolton gets up, makes a good contest in front for the Swans. Bird is there, he can't take it for Sydney. Del Santo can for the Saints. High kick going nowhere. Malcheski cuts it off. Runs around Sard now. On the outer wing, he loads up on the trusty left foot towards half forward. Getting back, Demps to the former Swan. Mumford's with him. They knock it out of bounds between wing and half forward. It's St Kilda 2-1-13, Sydney 1-2-8.
Well, really interesting use of Ryan O'Keefe to start this game. We've been so used to seeing him up and around the football over the last couple of years, but he's played predominantly as a forward for this whole first quarter. So I just wonder if he's a little bit sore from last week's match still.
That's where, of course, he started his career. There's going to be a stalemate. A lot of players milling around the football. The umpire's picked out a free kick. I don't know how. There are about 20 people on that outer half-forward flank, of which Jude Bolton gets the free kick. High ball inside 50. Pack collapses. roving at McGlynn. Handballs to Richards, the defender. Teddy from 40 bangs a long goal for Sydney and puts them in front. In another era, in another lifetime, he was a forward at Essendon. He's become a fine defender at the Swans, and that's a goal. And Sydney at 2-2-14, St Kilda 2-1-13 on Grandstand AFL at the 25-minute mark. Tim Stevens.
I think really importantly that Sydney's first scoring opportunity that hasn't come from a free kick, so they will be very glad to finally get their hands on the footy. I think we're seeing the players really struggling with the both the slippery nature of the surface, but also looks like the Sharon's getting a bit slippery as well. So
it's the former Kiwi international Tim Stevens with Adam Ramanauskas in the experts chair. I'm Quentin Ho with Dan Lonigan.
We look alike.
Well, similar hairdos.
We all look alike, though. We at the moment we've all got no hair.
I've got a better head for radio.
Centre bounce. Again, it bubbles around. Al Santo crashes through. Picked up by Kazitsky. There was a free kick. Playing to advantage as Cozzy whacks it to the goal mouth. Rebound finds himself at the back of the pack. Picks up and goals from 5 metres out.
Good play, Cozzy.
Really good play there by Justin Kazitsky there. What I was going to say is that one would have hurt Nick Revolt with Teddy Richards coming down and kicking that goal being his direct opponent. But we see there, just again, it's just a scrap and the ball's just worked forward. Cozzy just gets the ball and whack. That is the hardest kick to defend in the AFL, that quick kick coming straight out of the centre bounce, because generally all the defenders and forwards are one-on-one there. Teddy Richards just completely misread the football there, goes over the back and Revolt's there to run onto it and kick the easy goal.
So St Kilda 3-1-19 return to the lead. Sydney 2-2-14. The Roos first of the night and 13 now for the season.
Bounce in the middle. Mumford the tap. Armitage might be there. Stephen helps him out, but then Jack on hands and knees. Hand pass didn't find the target of Kennedy, but he knocks it away from Stephen and wins the footy himself. Tumble punts it inside 50 and it lands out of bounds 25 metres around from the Swans goal at the city end or southern end of the Cake Tin. Just love that name. It's a good sporting venues and sporting grounds around the world. It's one of the better ones for mine. It spills to the back. Montagna can't take it cleanly. St Kilda still well inside the defensive 50. Armitage puts the body on the line. Out to Geary. Kicks into bodies and he slaps it away from trouble momentarily for the Swans. Hand pass inside by Hanbury, who kept it alive. Kennedy, Smith and Jude Bolton all involved. Kick towards centre half forward by Smith. Slips now to Armstrong. Works his way through traffic. Handball to Jack. Jack from 40 stands start. The co-captain, he misses to the left-hand side, but Armstrong worked out well under pressure at centre half forward. Sydney should have done a bit better. 2-3-15. St Kilda 3-1-19. Close to quarter time here at Wellington.
And the kick in is a poor one. It was looking for Revolt. There was a contest and it's back on the deck inside attacking 50 for the Saints. And the umpire's going to ask for it. I was just double checking. Was that Del Santo that kicked in there? Yes, it was Nick Del Santo. You'd usually expect better from his precise boot. From the bounce, Stephen glides by for the Saints, wins a hard ball. An ineffective disposal though. It's still in the forward pocket for the Swans, with players all around the pack, and the umpire wants it again.
Well, if the players haven't got the long stops on, I guarantee you the coach will be checking at quarter time to make sure they all have, because we've just seen too many guys slip over to start this game.
The ball's just hacked out of the Saints' defence, picked up by Revolt at right half back. He bumped away from one, his kick was poor, went into the path of Matner, who then just dived back in towards a couple of Saints. And the umpire says it's mine. He didn't dive at their knees in the or shins in the manner of the new rule, but he picked it up almost like a rugby league player going to jump over a pack of players to score a try.
I wonder if there might be a few of those free kicks given tonight because of the Dewey services. Jack does well. He fended off about 4. Armstrong tried to burst through and had the ball knocked away. Bird, though, lends him support, but his kick's no good. And the reliable Dempster back in the side tonight. The All-Australian, the former Swan, marks for the Saints at half-back. Right half-back. Quick hand pass at close quarters to Stanley. Stanley's kick doesn't find the target. Skims to the back row to Lee. His kick was half knocked down for the Saints. Hanbury on hands and knees, gets it out, taken now by Matner. Matner's hurried kick. Not great footy this because of the conditions. McAvoy's there, intercepted by Hanbury. Handballing to Pike, at his back to it. Does well to burst his way through. Foots it inside, 50 to Goods. Goods is there. Lays off the hand pass. Didn't find the target of McVeigh. Finds Jack. Now McVeigh, 40er. He hooks around the body. It's an open goal and puts the Swans back in front. The Saints players were zoning off inside defensive 50, then allowing the Swans to get some decent football out and set up that goal to McVeigh. And they're 3-3-21, the reigning Premier. St Kilda 3-1-19 on Grandstand AFL, 30 minutes opening term.
He's just been in unbelievable form, Jared McVeigh. I think if the Brownlow medal count was tomorrow, he'd be right up there in terms of the voting. But his ability to impact the scoreboard. We heard Jude Bolton had kicked 9 goals to start the season. I reckon Jared McVeigh that's probably his 9th goal as well.
11.
11, yeah. There you go. So those two guys are just really impacting the scoreboard as midfielders. Jude's probably playing a lot more midfield, but they need to find one of their tall forwards to start kicking a few goals, the Swans, because it's a little bit of a worry now with Roberts Thompson out for a few weeks. Adam Goods needs to play a lot more key forward, in my opinion, because we're still waiting on Kurt Tippett.
The first bounce in the middle was wobbly, so recalled, thrown up. McAvoy taps it down for the Saints. Can't find a rover first time of asking, but then Hayes crashes through. Ineffective disposal. Jack's trying to chase it down. Jones is on his back. It's messy as it's rumbled out towards the outer side at right half forward for the Saints. But now St Kilda with the football. It's kicked into attack. Big pack of players. Back of it there is Nick Smith for Sydney, and he'll clean up as the 10 pins just pick themselves up. And a good kick from Smith across the goal mouth, marked uncontested by McVeigh. He chips to right half back. Armstrong takes an uncontested mark. Armstrong plays on. He drives a right boot towards the wing. Flying spoil from Geary. Actually think came off a bit of his head as well as his fist. Anyway, it went over the line, Rammer. That was an effective spoil throw in, attacking side of the wing for the Saints.
Just Dan Hanbury there. He doesn't flinch.
No.
He just continually goes back with the flight of the football week in, week out.
Open handed slap by Pike, but shark by Armitage for the Saints. Back inside, attacking 50. And there's the siren. Justice. Young Tom Lee was flying from behind to take a finger tipper. Couldn't hang on. Good quarter of footy. There's your first quarter. New Zealand of AFL footy for premiership points. Hope you liked it. It was pretty tough conditions. But Sydney have found their way in front after the Saints kicked the first 2 goals. The Swans 3-3-21. The Saints 3-1-19. Very shortly we're going to have an interview from the Bombers captain Joe Watson after what was a fantastic win by the Bombers today. They beat Collingwood in the Anzac Day match at the MCG in front of more than 93,000 people, if you don't mind, by 46 points. Goal kickers for the Swans up to quarter time. And a goal to Jared McVeigh, Josh Kennedy and Ted Richards. A rare goal for the defender for the Saints. Seb Ross in his 3rd game, Nick Revolt, and the comeback kid, his first game of 2013, Justin Kazitsky. So quarter time at the Cake Tin in Wellington. And we see St Kilda 3-1-19 trailing the Swans 3-3-21. This is Grandstand AFL and ABC Local Radio, Grandstand Digital, Radio Sport New Zealand, News Radio and streaming at abc.net.au/grandstand. In dewy conditions in front of a good crowd at the Wellington Stadium in New Zealand. The first match played on foreign soil for premiership points. And Sydney, after the Saints kick the first 2 goals, are in front. 3-3-21. The Saints 3-1-19. Dan Lonigan, Quentin Hull, Adam Ramanauskas and Tim Stevens with you. More from Rammer and Tim in just a second. But as we mentioned, Essendon had a big win over Collingwood today in the big Anzac Day match at the MCG. They dominated. They won by 46 points, 18-13, 121. The Magpies 10-15, 75. Alan Tuvey suffered a bad injury late in the match. And David Zaharakis won the Anzac Day medal, 4 goals and 34 possessions. We'll hear more from him at half-time, but here's a snippet of what Joe Watson had to say to the ABC boys after their big win today.
Joe, it just keeps going. It's been an amazing 5 weeks.
Yeah, it has been. There's been some ups and downs. It's well documented what's sort of going on off the field, but on the field, we just keep trying to improve and get better. And, it was a huge test for us again today. A team that's really had the wood over us. Big occasion. Challenged, in that second quarter. And then we came out after half-time, and I thought we just sort of played the game the way we wanted to play it.
Are you surprising yourselves how well you're going? This was probably the biggest test today against a bona fide top four side. You've passed it with flying colours. It's been amazing how you just seem to be getting better and better and surprising everybody outside the football club. What about inside?
Yeah, we've been working really hard over the summer. There was some, we could see improvement on the training track. The test is, as you know, is when you're faced against opposition. So it's a little bit of an unknown, but certainly some of the key indicator areas that we were ahead of where we were on the track, 12 months ago. So that gives you confidence, but you've got to be able to implement them, and so far we've been able to do so.
Now, Joe, when you kick goals and you come to the bench, you're not allowed to smile. You're meant to have the serious face on. What was going on there?
Oh, the crowd was loud. It was too loud for me not to be a bit overwhelmed by it. So it was just a wonderful feeling. It was a bit, probably showed off a little bit going straight to the crowd, but I don't really kick many goals like that, so I thought I'd make the most of it.
It's Joe Watson. We'll hear more of that interview at half-time after the Bombers beat Collingwood at the MCG today on Anzac Day to make it 5-0 for them, 5 in a row by 46 points.
And here Sydney by 2, the main possession winners up to quarter time for the Swans. Hanbury has 8, Parker, Kennedy and Jack 7, while for the Saints, Stephen leading the way with 10, Revolt and Hayes with 9 and Geary 7.
Well, the challenge for the Saints is how long they can maintain this pressure. We've seen a really scrappy first quarter there, and probably St Kilda dominated possession and play, but it was Sydney just with a little bit of class late in that quarter were able to get them that lead. So this suits Sydney. How long can St Kilda maintain the pressure?
Centre bounce to start the second term. In the middle of the ground, well, Hayes is underneath the football, crashing through, giving away a free kick. Just got a bit too high there on Ben McGlynn, so the ex-Hawk will drive Sydney into attack at the northern end to a 2-on-2 contest. Read the target, it comes off hands, and St Kilda's ball. Nice piece of work from Geary to take them on, run through the congestion and kick the ball towards the wing. Out there the target is Lee, but getting in there in front of him is Ramp, so two very inexperienced players there. Ramp just kicks the ball around the boundary line, gains about 20 metres, and it's over the line. The ball to be thrown in between wing and right half forward for the Swans. It's McAvoy and Mumford, should I say it's Pike and Mumford. Underneath the ball, Jones and Hayes. St Kilda just at the coalface doing well here as Del Santo tried an underground hand pass. It ricocheted off boots and then went over the boundary line. So another throw in. It seems at the feet of the ruckman, the Saints are calling them first more often than not, Rammer.
Yeah, we are. And look, it's a big ask for Ben McAvoy again. He'll get some support from Justin Kaczynski, but Pike and Mumford's a big ask.
McAvoy double hands it down to Hayes, tried to handle to Geary. As one of St Kilda's more improved players in the last 12 months or so, he gets swamped. There'll be another ball up.
I reckon Mike Pike always dreamed of playing at the home of the Hurricanes.
Well, he's done it, hasn't he? Good open-handed slap by the former Canadian rugby union player. It spills out that of Goods. Handball to Jude Bolton, loves a goal, hooks around the body. Just misses to the left-hand side. He's become a goal-kicking specialist in the forward pocket, the veteran, and was running out of room. No room to move in the right forward pocket. At the northern end, didn't miss by too much. The Swans, 3-4-22. The Saints, 3-1-19.
Driven along from the kick-in towards the wing. Revolt the target. He couldn't mark, but brings it to ground. And, Jack's there to make a fierce tackle on Ross. And Ross is pinged for holding the ball.
Gee, I'm not sure where the opportunity is there for Seb Ross to release that football. The umpire just needs to ball it up.
Jack kicks into attack. It's fisted away from the pack over the line. Throw in with the Swans in the left forward pocket. Yeah, very hot that.
Oh, instead of giving him the opportunity to try and get the ball out and then calling for holding the ball, just blow the whistle early and throw the ball straight up.
Throw in with the Swans in attack. Jones got one high, and he'll get a free kick for the Saints. Play undue advantage, though, as it's kicked clear by Hayes, and his chipped pass is marked by Kosicki, just forward of 50 at right half back.
Kosicki kicks down the line. It clears Riewoldt in front, and Malcheski, and Richards takes the mark.
Going to get a free kick
but
here,
Riewoldt to get one for the chopping of the arms. It was a late call.
It was a late call, but it was a poor kick by Cozzy. But
yeah.
Well done to Nick Riewoldt. He had a terrific start to the game. He had the 8 possessions for the quarter and the goal. You can see he's really working hard, trying to bring his team into the game.
Hayes chips inside to Sam Fisher, drives them long inside 50, but floating back, taking a comfortable mark, the reliable Grundy, just outside the defensive goal square. He feeds by foot to the outer back pocket to Matner.
And that's what I spoke about, Dan. Sydney is so disciplined at just keeping their back six together. St Kilda cannot bomb the football in long, particularly if Riewoldt's right up there on centre wing.
Geelong separated them a little bit, Rammer, last week, didn't they? As Smith kicks to the wing, big pack forming. Goods tried to grab it, he couldn't. Then tackles are laid near him, standing tackles in fact, and they go to ground. There'll be a bounce on the wing in front of the two teams' dugouts. A more populated area in the crowd on that outer side from us here at the Wellington Stadium. Tap down, trying to squeeze a kick through traffic. McAvoy comes off bodies and rebounds out of bounds on the wing. It's Sydney 3-4-22, St Kilda 3-1-19 on grandstand. AFL Anzac Night football in New Zealand, the Swans in front.
Pike got to the front of the ruck contest. McVeigh was gliding by, couldn't really gather. Hanbury then tunnelballs it out, but to no one in particular. McGlynn crashes through. Great tackle from Ross, but McGlynn got a hand pass free. The umpire says, Ross's tackle was over the shoulder. Free kick to Ben McGlynn, who's at half back for the Swans. His kick wide is marked by Hanbury, and Armitage lost his footing. So Hanbury says, I'll play on and spear the pass to Jude. And Bolton takes the mark on 50. He plays on quickly. Jude Bolton kicks looking for Reid. Gliding over. The spoil came there from Fisher at the back of the pack. It's picked up by Ramp. Ramp kicks it back to whence it came. Goods had a bite, couldn't take the mark. At the deck, Kennedy wins a hard ball. Hand passes to McVeigh. He's tackled by Del Santo, and the umpire wants it. About 35 metres out from the Sydney goal.
With the really young St Kilda list, it's very important for these the more experienced St Kilda players to stand up, and we saw earlier on in that first quarter when Riewoldt and Cozzy got involved, they looked a lot better.
They sure did. Sam Fisher tries to clear traffic. He won't. Gilbert's there to lend support to Del Santo. Pops a kick outside defensive 50. Riewoldt takes the mark. Behind the wing. Probably still right half back. The commentary side of the ground or western side. And Dennis Lane had bobbled off his chest, but he grabbed it. Nothing on offer up the ground for the former Swan, and goes back to Riewoldt, the Saints star. 5-time best and fairest winner. His kick is not a great one to Gilbert. Gilbert better be good to get that. Luckily he has support in Robertson. Dislodged in a tackle. Handball's now in the direction of Fisher. He should have hit Gilbert on the chest and Riewoldt, but they might get out of this one as a hard, tough player, and Geary takes a mark under due wrestle on the outer wing. Pumps a hand pass inside to Sam Fisher. Hurries a kick inside 50. From behind, Pike brings it to ground. Kennedy at the full. His hand pass doesn't find the target of Jack. Socket free by Riewoldt. Grundy attacks it hard in the forward pocket. Armitage comes the other way. Good contest at ground level. Spills out now to McVeigh. Kicks into the middle, but straight on the chest of Robertson, just in front of the circles for the Saints, who build again.
He kicks to right half back. Jones marks. Slots a short pass to Montagna, who marks just beyond range. At right half forward, about 60 out. Lee Montagna with his right boot. Sets it up to the space for Riewoldt. What a kick.
What a kick.
Riewoldt takes an uncontested chest mark 25 metres out, directly in front. That wasn't Lee Montagna, that was Joey Montagna.
And Heath Grundy, and as he should be, he's going absolutely berserk at Nick Malcheski and the captain, Jared McVeigh, because they should have been in that space. Malcheski was standing there. He was standing there minding grass. That's all he was doing there. Did not want one bit of that contest there with Riewoldt, but just a terrific kick by Lee Montagna. Riewoldt had a terrific start again to this second quarter, lining up for his second goal here.
If he kicks it, he'll put the Saints back in front, and Riewoldt makes no mistake. A second goal for Nick Riewoldt. And St Kilda return to the lead in this seesawing contest in New Zealand. The Saints 4 goals won, 25 lead Sydney 3-4-22 through 7.5 minutes. Our very special expert guest on this first night in New Zealand is the former Kiwi international and now umpire Tim Stevens.
And I think for New Zealand fans, that really just showed the amount of running that Nick Riewoldt does. He picked that ball up just outside his own 50, and 3 kicks later he takes mark 25 out from goal. And for those Kiwis who are new to the game, it's that sort of athleticism that really sets this great game apart.
Yes, he's been doing it for years and years, Tim. Into the twilight of his career now, but it's made a very good start. Bounce in the middle, Mumford leaning in is McAvoy, and terrific play by Hayes to run away from the middle after grabbing it. Kicks inside 50, almost a good mark to Lee. Revolt's there again. Handballs defensively now to Montagna. Now to Hayes, the guns doing well. His kick's all right. He pulled the trigger and allowed Lee to lunge forward and take the mark. I reckon the Swans defender thought he was going to bomb along to that goal square at the city end, but he saw Lee very late. That is a skill that no one can teach, Rammer.
Dan, that is, you were spot on there. Lenny Hayes, that ball was going long. Lenny's seen that at the last split second, just seen Tom Lee out the corner of his eye, and his ability to kick that ball around the corner to hit Tom Lee on the chest. You can't teach that stuff. That is just total class.
Do I smell popcorn? Right half forward, Lee kicking through the footy but missing to the right hand side. It's a behind opportunity, goes begging for Tom Lee. Had a couple of years on Adelaide's list. Start for Claremont and the Waffle when they dominated that comp to win the flag last year. Gets another chance this year. Would love to have kicked that goal though. His team up by 4 points.
Malchesty and Armstrong combined to try and work the ball out of defence for the Swans. And Armstrong kicks, marked by Matner. He gives back to Armstrong. He's tackled from behind by Dennis Lane, and pushing the back's the decision from the umpire.
Geez, it's such a harsh penalty there, because the momentum of Armstrong is going forward anyway. Dennis Lane doesn't bring him forward in the tackle. He should be holding the ball.
Armstrong short to O'Keefe, who takes a mark defensive side of the wing. Ryan O'Keefe on his left boot kicks, and Parker phones the drop. Takes a mark, a kick and a half from goal at left half forward. Hits the ground running and hits the targeting Jack. About 25 out. He's uncontested. Mark plays on and kicks a goal. Brilliant work from Parker to take the game on, and then, well, Kieran Jack couldn't believe his luck. He was uncontested with the chest mark 25 out, and it was instinct that said stop, take the set shot, but there was no one around him. So he thought, well, I'll stroll 5 metres closer to goal and bang it through to put the Swans back in front, 4-4 to 4-2.
Well, just a great example there by Luke Parker to take the mark and then really take the game on, because he was in congestion when he took that mark, but he saw just a touch of space. But Kieran Jack's ability there just to understand that Parker was going to win that football and mark that football. Jack just sprinted to the goal square, and Parker had 2 options there. He had McVeigh to one side, Jack to the other side. Pick Kieran Jack, who kicked the goal.
So Swans hit the front again as Mumford taps it down. Jack, volleyball, spikes it in an defensive way to McVeigh, then hits Goods on the chest, who kicks inside 50 with a decisive punt, and a terrific mark taken. Was it held? No, not quite. And the Saints do well when the ball hits the ground. It was Luke Parker, I thought, nearly had enough of it in that right forward pocket. And they work hard for it. Both teams tussle hard at ground level. There'll be a bounce, or a ball up, I should say, just inside the boundary, 20 metres out from the Swans' northern goal. The tap down, and Hayes, one of 2 St Kilda players, laying a tackle. Del Santo the other, not allowing their opponent to get away as he was sandwiched. It's Ryan O'Keefe. We called him a lot tonight, have we? I know he's playing up forward. At the moment, 4-4-28 Sydney, 4-2-26 St Kilda. Parker at ground level got it out to Hanbury, who receives a hand pass again as he managed to get it free in traffic, but then not for long as St Kilda swarm around like bees near a honeypot, and they just pile on in an ugly scrap 20 metres out from the Saints' defensive goal. There'll be a ball up.
Well, it's not pretty football here. There's plenty of bodies around this congestion. St Kilda just need to try clear the space here and allow a path.
Well, Stanley flew up in that ruck contest. It bobbles down for McVeigh of Sydney. Quick gift to Bird. Bird snaps on the right from the pocket. He kicks it across the face. Goods flies. And, well, almost a mark is claimed by the St Kilda defence there in Fisher, who thought he might have got first hand, but it goes over the boundary line. No mark. Throw in the left forward pocket for the Swans, who lead the game by 2 points. The throw-in goes over the top of the ruckman. And again, it's back in the chop. Goods toes it to his advantage, but he just can't pick it up. Oh, Gilbert made a mistake trying to rush it through. And McGlynn got to the last line to toe poke it through for a goal. Oh, and you can just see Gilbert thumping his fist into the Wellington turf as he tried to just flip that defensively. And he missed the teammate. He didn't hit it hard enough to go through for a point. And McGlynn was there to kick it off the ground, to kick a goal. Just watching the replay, I think he actually tried to pick it up, did Sam Gilbert. We're getting a replay. I don't think they've gone to the screen, have they, Dan?
Well, no, it's a goal to McGlynn.
It's a goal. Yeah.
McVeigh also threw his boot at it too.
McVeigh got the first toe poke in there.
Yeah.
McGlynn finished the goal off. But Sydney love this. They love this style of play. They love it scrappy. They love the ball on the ground. They love to surge the football forward. St Kilda need to find another way to try and clear the ball. They're trying to beat Sydney at their own game. And at the moment, it's not working. Sydney can maintain this intensity for the whole game.
Mini break for the Swans, their biggest lead. Have kicked 5 of the last 7. Hands and knees hand pass from Big Mumford. It comes out to him again. Gee, there are players everywhere outside the circles, but the Saints managed to shove it forward. Sard leads in the race. He's under some pressure from Smithy's opponent, who stumbles. Sard stumbles again close to the boundary. Picked up by Montagna. Hooks a kick. Revolt. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Nearly had it. It was the right side for him. Socked it away by the Swans. Everett. Good play by Jones, and he got tackled. Same was Matner and Revolt. Gee, it's hard, isn't it? Good play by Mumford to get it out to Malcheski, but he kicks into bodies, and then they just pile on in. Tough footy. As Hanbury's there, Kennedy jumped over him and then slapped it free of the contest outside defensive 50 in the road, though. Stevens of the Saints, he got worried out of it. Jude Bolton involved in a wrestle with Gilbert. Stevens goes in again in the middle of the ground. Here's Gilbert charging forward, got 40. Montagna on the outside, 50 out. Finish the job, Joey. Finish the job. Great goal. Great contested footy by both teams. And then the Saints were good enough to get it to their best outside man, Lee Montagna. They kicked their fifth, and they're 5-2-32. The Swans up 5-4-34. 15 gone, second quarter on Grandstand AFL.
And Lee Montagna will be very, very popular with the Wellington fans. They were over here for the community camp earlier on January, and he did a power of work with a lot of the young football fans here in Wellington. So that will be a very, very popular goal kick.
Handy strike in the wet too.
Well, a fantastic strike, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. St Kilda finding another way. The ball again contest a congested situation, but Stephen was able to win the ball. Sam Gilbert was able to win the ball in that congestion. Get it to your best outside player in Lee Montagna.
Centre bounce. Sydney's clearance. Lovely quick hand from McVeigh to Bird. Bird kicks wide towards the half forward flank. It favours Dempster, the ex-Swan, playing now for the Saints. His hand pass to Fisher, and Fisher's buffeted over the line. Is it the first of the bad Kiwi jokes time? They're very willing in Wellington at the moment, these two teams, that's for sure. Not very windy though. It's wet though.
You did well to wait for the second quarter to fit a Kiwi joke in.
I'd concentrate on the commentary, Q. There'll be a ball up. Nothing doing from that boundary throw in. Neither team able to get a possession. Hardness at the footy. Ending here. Taken by Bird from the ruck contest. He hooked around the body, but the Saints had defenders good enough to parry it towards the boundary. 25 around from their defensive goal at the northern end. They trail by 2 points. Tap to the front by Pike. And again, number of players converging around the contest. O'Keefe crawling on broken glass to try and get it, but Hayes was in front, but his kick was smothered. And another boundary throw in, still about 20 metres around from the Swans' goal in front of the big screen at that northern end. Back into play, leaning in McAvoy. I thought that he might have been dealt with then. Goods picked up by O'Keefe. He kicks under pressure from just outside the goal square, and he misses to the left hand side. Sydney by 3 points, 5-5-35. The Saints 5-2-32 on Grandstand AFL.
And the quick release has the ball out towards left half back. Lee with the mark, but his kick to the wing is no good. And marked by McGlynn of Sydney. So the Swans to come back into attack again. And McGlynn just boots it on his right boot very, very wide. Looking for Jude Bolton near the boundary line. Geary was there with him. It's kept in momentarily before it's over for a throw in at right half forward for Sydney. The Swans led by 2 points at quarter time. It's 2 goals apiece in this quarter. 2-2 to 2-1 in fact. So the Swans out by 3 points as we speak. On attacking 50 for the Swans. Well, trying to crash through was Armitage. He did really well. He had 2 cracks at it, but then his second hand pass stolen by Kennedy. An up and under kick. Coming back is Stephen for St Kilda to spoil it down, but picked up by Everett for the Swans. His hand pass to McGlynn, very close to the boundary line at right half forward. It's kept in, and now Robertson has it. The Saints are a chance to emerge. It's bobbling around. Armstrong's over it. He's tackled, and the umpire says mine.
I'll tell you what, guys, some of these contests would not be out of place in a rugby match. They are very, very tight, and there are certainly a lot of players around the footy.
Mate, we're harder than rugby players. Come on.
I'm not commenting. I'm just going to sit here and call the game as Sydney get a kick out of the pack, and it's a behind. 5-6-36 to 5-2-32, but it is terrific to watch.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's probably not a great spectacle of football that we're seeing at the moment, but it's hard, it's tough, it's uncompromising.
Well, the kick into the back pocket. Dempster hasn't played a lot of footy, nearly made a meal of that. Good enough to get it when the ball hit the ground, and kicks towards McAvoy just behind the wing, tackled as he threw the ball on the boot. The tackle applied by Nick Smith, whose opponent is Saad today. He probably would have got Rammer's great mate Milne. He's got a week suspension, Stephen Milne. Scott Waters wasn't happy about it. Gave him a bit of a spray during the week. Tap to the back by McAvoy. Running onto it, Matner now. Matner gets a hand pass into the middle. Jude Bolton got his hands free. Hand pass now in the direction of Parker. Picks it up at half forward. Tried to get it to McGlynn. Good play. Gilbert got a hand on it. Knocked it down for the Saints. Falls towards Geary. Kicks towards Big McAvoy. Can't take the mark. Then he paddles towards Jones. On hands and knees. Forces a hand pass out. Kennedy intercepts. Too good for Ross then. And good play by McVeigh to keep it alive to Armstrong. They do well on the up with Bird receiving a hand pass. His kick wobbles inside 50. Good play. Parker feeds over the top. Now McGlynn's on the end of it. Jude Bolton it is. 20 metres out, he kicks the goal. Loves a goal, Jude Bolton. And they're out again by 10 points close to half time. We've played 20 minutes, 6-6-42. The Saints 5-2-32, guys. All about keeping it alive inside attacking 50.
Keeping it alive, moving the ball forward. But that's the 10th goal of the year for Jude Bolton. And I can guarantee you what would have happened at the end of last year. The Swans have obviously won the premiership. Jude Bolton would have went into John Longmire's office and said, look, I want to play on again. John Longmire would have said, look, you're not going to get nowhere near as much time in the midfield. And Jude would have said to him, well, what role do you want me to play, coach? And John's obviously said to him, I want you to play forward. I want you to be that hard, tough, uncompromising player that you always have been for our club. He is making such a game of it now. Jude Bolton is playing as a small forward. That's his 10th goal for the year.
Centre bounce was a bit wobbly, but the umpire let it go. Neither team got a real clear clearance. Now Jones rushes it inside attacking 50 for St Kilda, but Richards first there to meet it for the Swans. His hand pass hoping for ramp. The pressure is applied from Saad, and the boundary line is the victor. It will be thrown in at right half forward for St Kilda, who need a goal. 10 points is the lead for the Swans, getting closer to half time here. The ruckmen go at it underneath it. Armstrong for Sydney. Hand passes to McVeigh. McVeigh back to Armstrong. All under pressure. Revolt tackles Armstrong over the boundary and gave away a free kick. Did he, for dragging you afterwards? Yep. He slung him. Did the international Roo. And a free kick for Armstrong. Well, up around 10 metres or so to advantage. And Pike, the recipient, he doesn't want to kick it. He gives it to McVeigh. McVeigh clears Sydney from left half back to the wing, and strong hands by Parker. He's having a bit of a game here, Luke Parker. Marks on the wing for Sydney. Kicks a long ball towards attack, and Reid uses his body. Got away from Gilbert but couldn't complete the mark. Now the cavalry arrives. St Kilda there in numbers. Stephen out the back of the pack, wins it for the Saints. Hands it to Montagna from the right back pocket. He drives to the wing. Robertson drops a mark he should have taken against two. And now on the counter, Sydney press back. It was Parker to McVeigh, and McVeigh's chip pass to Hanbury. Hanbury marks 40 out. He gives to McVeigh, who'd run on. And McVeigh takes the chest mark about 10 metres closer to goal. Tough angle though, 45 degrees to the left. He'll have to clear 45 to kick the goal.
Well, firstly, Sam Reid should have taken the mark, and he too grabbed at it. Then secondly, Dylan Robertson should have taken that mark, and Jared McVeigh wouldn't be having this set shot for goal.
McVeigh already has the one goal. This to make it a 16-point lead for the Swans. We're right behind it. It's flirting with the upright. It hits the post. Hits the post. Now behind to Jared McVeigh. Sydney 6-7-43 to St Kilda's 5-2-32. Quentin Hull, Dan Lonergan, Tim Stevens, our special Kiwi guest, and Adam Ramanauskas on grandstand.
Stanley doing himself heads to a contest on the commentary side of the ground. McAvoy was there. Big Nick Revolt as well for the Saints. Tied up in a tackle and pushing and shoving Montagna and McGlynn, and there'll be a ball up. So just into attack again, the Swans. O'Keefe at the fall, hand pass though, stripped from him by Stephen, who throws it on the boot. Took a long time to go out. Ross eventually sees it out, accompanied by Armstrong of the Swans. It'll be a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, look, and again, we're just seeing Nick Malcheski in defence all by himself, no one near him. So if this ball comes out quickly, expect Nick Malcheski to mark in St Kilda's forward 50.
Pike. It's awkward, isn't it, the way he taps it down, but he had O'Keefe receiving, and then Lenny Hayes was hanging on for dear life. Thrown up again, just taps it down towards O'Keefe, who can't control it. Stephen tries to Jones on the up, defensive give to Montagna. He drives the Saints long towards half forward. Malcheski, a nice punch at the fall. Matner receives. Quick give to Malcheski. Hooks a kick around the body, but it's all St Kilda. Geary's been one of their best. Skids in, takes the mark at half back. Handballs defensively to Jones. Feeds a hand pass over the top to Stanley. Get rid of it. Reacher under the pump. Did pretty well then. Threaded it over the top towards Geary. Kicks towards half forward. Bouncing away from Lee. At the back is Grundy. He has a fumble. Picks it up while being tackled. Got it to Malcheski, who kicks quickly again. Kicks blindly. And Jones will mark inside the boundary in front of our commentary position for the Saints, who trail by 11 points.
Very short kick to Montagna, who marks and drives to full forward. Revolts! Great use of the body to get rid of Ted Richards and take a fine contested mark. And Ted Richards is saying, where's my free kick? But that was a great one-on-one battle.
No, look, he's having a very, very good game. Nick Revolt, the St Kilda captain. You can see he's got some real purpose in his game at the moment. And what that says to me, he wants to rectify the situation himself. He's the captain. He wants to make the statement of, boys, follow me tonight. He's lining up here for his third goal.
Needs to kick it, should kick it at the 25.5-minute mark of the second term. Slight angle, 25 out. Oh, he's hit the post, has he?
Yep, inside of it.
Hit the post.
The latter part of his career has just been such an issue for him, his goal kicking, Revolt. Absolute champion, superstar of our game, but it just seems he's lost all confidence in his set shot for goal.
Sydney 43, St Kilda 33.
Malcheski to himself drives it long to the wing, waiting down Robert, and his teammate Kaczynski wanting to get into it, fought it with him at ground level and allowed the ball to jar free, but Jude Bolton couldn't get a clean possession. Hayes does, but shoves it on the boot and puts it out of bounds on the forward half forward for the Saints. So Ryan O'Keefe will take it right on the defensive 50. Norm Smith medalist of last year, going 262. Been a star. Kicks down the line. It's all St Kilda. Gilbert decides not to mark. He two-hands it over the boundary in an effective spoil. So close to half-time. And the Swans by 10 points. In the blue boots, Mumford lost the contest. Kennedy at ground level. Does well to get out of it. No, he doesn't. I thought he got the hand pass clear, but he still had the footy, and then the tackling was terrific by Lenny Hayes. Two wonderful players playing on each other in that exchange. Hayes with the free kick on the wing for the Saints. Kicks to Revolt on a lead in front of Richards. We've seen that over the years. We've called that over the years. He kicks towards the goal square. Swans with numbers. Big punch by Melcheski. Clears the traffic, and Hanbury on the run picks up for the Swans.
His kick to the wing, setting Parker a task against two. Robert and Shepherd's picked up by Geary. St Kilda's ball. Geary's hand pass to Murdoch. Murdoch tackled by Bolton, but got rid of it legally. Robertson's got it again for St Kilda on the wing. Kicks towards attacking 50. Two Swans spoil each other. Underneath it, so that's Dennis Lane for the Saints. He tries to run through them, but is tackled. A mess of players appearing on the left half forward flank for the Saints. It's towed out of there though by O'Keefe of Sydney. Now crashing through is McGlynn. It's back in the chop. It's like a pick and drive where the blind side runs back into the maul or the ruck there, and we'll see a bounce. We'll see a ball up at left half forward for St Kilda. 10 points the lead to Sydney. The punch favours McVeigh. He's tackled, dispossessed. Ball rolls towards the goal lot mouth for St Kilda. Sard couldn't pick it up. Neither could Grundy. Again, players slipping and sliding over the ball near the goal mouth. The umpire's watching. He'll ping someone here. Who's underneath it? It's a free kick. I had to wait for the umpire to signal Sydney's way. There's so many around them, Dan. I just had to work out who was at the bottom of it all.
Yeah, ridiculous. We had no idea, did we? Couldn't see it. Kick by Melcheski was a bit dangerous. Good still well to knock it to Hanbury's advantage, and then to Armstrong. Who are you kicking it to, Tony? Almost a good mark in the end to Montagna, but Reid came in very late. He made a good spoil. Kennedy tries to lay a tackle. Barging free over Hartnett Young right. Did well under pressure. Threw it on the boot for St Kilda, but the mark taken by Richards. Kicks across the face now to Grundy. Grundy's at half back on the outer side, Reginald. He kicks his team towards the wing, looking for McVeigh. Can't mark it. Jones is with him, having a good tussle. It's out of bounds between wing and half forward outer side. Saints just into attack going to the City end. They trail by 10 points.
And the suit by C. Jones is just starting to get a little itchy on Joe McVeigh.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's probably been even so far, that contest between those two.
Just a bit of frustration in that last passage. The ball rushed to half forward for Sydney, but Saints there in number, and they're out here on the western wing. The kick is marked by Montagna in space. He kicks, and right on the half-time siren. The kick wasn't all that great as it turned out. Very, very wide for Tommy Lee, but Lee couldn't get there before the siren sounded across the Cape Tin to signal half-time in the first AFL Premiership game on foreign soil, and it's the Sydney Swans, the reigning AFL premiers, leading St Kilda by 10 points. So they've extended their break from quarter time, which was 2 points, to now have a 10-point lead at half time. Sydney kicking 3 goals 4 in that term to St Kilda's 2 goals 2. The Swans 6-7-43 to the Saints 5-3-33. And for Sydney, all singles, are they, Dan? Just double checking. We've got McVeigh, yes, Kennedy, Jack, Bolton, Richards, and I'm one shy. McGlynn is the other. Ben McGlynn. So the goal kickers for Sydney again: McVeigh, Kennedy, Jack, McGlynn, Bolton, and Richards. While St Kilda's 5 goals, 2 of them to Nick Revolt, and singles to Justin Kazitsky, Seb Ross, and Lee Montagna.
So half time, and Sydney getting on top in that quarter, 3 goals to 2, but the Saints kept fighting. Both teams missed a couple of chances, and it's a 10-point lead. 6-7-43 the Swans. The Saints are 5-3-33. We've got news coming up shortly. And it's a tough, hard battle here in Wellington. The first match outside Australia for premiership points in the AFL. Pleasure to be here. Dan Lonigan, Quentin Hull, Tim Stevens, our guest from AFL New Zealand. Good to have him with us. And Adam Ramanauskas here at the Wellington Stadium. Good crowd watching this tight battle between the Swans and the Saints, and Sydney leading by 10 points at half time, 6-7-43 to 5-3-33. In the NRL earlier today, the Roosters' outstanding early season form has continued. Too good for one of the bottom teams, the Dragons. They've won 34-10, and we'll keep you updated throughout the night. It's basically Australia v New Zealand. The Warriors doing battle against the Storm. The Storm undefeated in Melbourne. 4 minutes in, there is no score as yet.
Don't look at the form guide though when you have Storm Warriors
that's right.
games.
Warriors got a very good record against them no matter where they've been on the table.
There's a very good Kiwi population that follows rugby league in Melbourne that really gets behind the Warriors.
That's exactly right.
I'm saying all the right things because of course we're here in New Zealand.
We are.
Go Warriors tonight.
Oh, I still think the Storm will beat them. Sorry to prick your balloon, Q, but
that's okay.
We'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, earlier today in Melbourne, across the road from where the Storm and the Warriors are doing battle at Amy Stadium at the MCG in front of 93,000, Essendon had an outstanding victory. They were too good for Collingwood. They won by 46 points, 18-13, 121. The Magpies 10-15, 75. We heard a snippet at quarter time. But here's the rest of the interview the ABC Grandstand team had with one of the stars for the Bombers, their skipper Jobe Watson, and we start with Josh Fraser.
Jobe, congratulations, mate, on today's game, both individually and from a team point of view, and also the way you yourself have conducted yourself in front of the media and things over the first 4 weeks of the club. It can't have been easy, and you've handled yourself extremely well. I just wanted to ask you, from today's point of view, what were the key focuses or messages leading in today? What did you identify in the Collingwood makeup that you thought you could exploit?
Well, I suppose we've been beaten pretty badly by them in the past, and their midfielders have really got on top of us. And even today, you know, when the momentum sort of swung in that second quarter, it was, you know, Swan and Sidebottom and Pendlebury and those guys who were leading that. So we just had to be more accountable around the midfield, a bit more of a consistent effort with our defence, and we thought that if we were able to, you know, keep the game in a contest and keep our contested football high, then, you know, that's more similar to the way we want to play. So we sort of identified as if we can keep the game in a contest, you know, keep it into a one-on-one, then it'll give us a better chance to try and beat them. And were the clearances spoken about at half-time? Because you were well down in that area, but despite Bell Chambers having a huge impact with the hit-outs, you weren't able to extract it from the clearances that often, but that turned in the second half. Was that spoken about? Yeah, we got a bit of a rocket, which we needed, you know, from Goody, our midfield coach, about our effort around the ball, and they were out muscling us, and you know, we had to do something about it, and Tommy and Hilly were getting their hands to the ball, but their midfielders were just getting first use. So, you know, we just had to be a bit more hungry, a bit hungrier around the footy, and a bit more desperate, and I thought the guys were much better in that in the second half.
Yeah, and a player who took my eye from that, I know it's a collective thing, but I thought Stanton's performance, he looked to really go to Swan. And Swan had 19 possession that first half, and Stanton restricted him to 11 in the second half and picked up 31 himself, which we thought was significant. And the other area you spoke about, Jobe, was that even though you're in front at half-time on the scoreboard, we thought you were well in front on general play, but an area of concern was that Collingwood were getting a lot of uncontested ball, a lot of soft ball out wide. In the second half, you really put the clamps on them. Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic job by Stance in the second half. Dane's, you know, such a wonderful player and has really been the catalyst for some huge Anzac Day wins for Collingwood. So his effort was momentous for us. And then, yeah, you're right. The uncontested football that they were getting just meant that they were controlling the ball, and we just felt that if we were a bit tougher around the footy, if we were a bit more contested style of game, then it would reduce the amount of uncontested footy that they were getting. Another thing that we felt was pleasing from an Essendon perspective was spreading of the load. We thought that when we looked at Essendon players compared to Collingwood today, you had more guys who contributed, and not only just in stats, but our impression from here was that the work rate of prepared to get across and outnumber, especially after half-time, was certainly all Essendon's way. Yeah, I think we're starting to develop some depth in our midfield, and look, to be mindful of Collingwood, they're missing Dane Beams, who's, you know, a high quality player, Luke Ball as well, Darren Jolly, so they've got some depth to come back to their team, but we're trying to add some similar sort of depth to get to where they are, and you know, I think that all the good sides seem to have 8 to 10 guys who can go through there, and if they're not in their midfield, they're playing on your half forward, half back flanks, and it's a really important part of the game. Ask him about Carlisle. Quick, is he okay? Yeah, I think he's fine. He sort of jarred his foot a little bit. A lot of Essendon people will want to know that, mate. Yeah, no, he did an enormous job again. But he's walking around. I think he'll be okay. So we've got a 9 or a 10-day break now, so he should be fine.
Terrific, Jobe. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Jobe Watson, the Essendon skipper, after another big day for his club at the MCG. What a terrific start for the year for the red and the black. 18-13, 121 to Collingwood's 10-15, 75. So a 46-point win for the Bombers here in Wellington. We've got all the two senior sides just running back out onto the field. Sydney, in fact, just going through a few handball drills as the Saints re-emerge, and Sydney has a 10-point lead, 6-7-43 to the Saints 5-3-33. Ryan?
And Tim, we've seen all the Oz kickers out there on the ground at half-time. I believe the numbers are quite amazing already over here.
We get we call it Kiwi kick over here for obvious reasons, and we get in 30,000 kids over here each year. Obviously the same age, 5 and 12-year-olds for 8 weeks each, and that's probably our big target for the next 2 or 3 years. We really want to extend that beyond just 8 weeks, so that and obviously grow the numbers as well, because it's not just about having the elite AFL players here. We also want to grow the game in the country, and we see the way to do that is through the Kiwi Kick program.
Oh, no doubt about that. Look, it was a terrific sight there. All those young kids just out there. Look, they'll never forget an experience like this. One other question that I wanted to ask you: where did the name the Cake Tin originate from, or who made the name up?
I think that's one of the names that probably the architects who worked long and hard to come up with such a fantastic venue probably didn't stand back and look at a model, and it just looked like one of Mum's cake tins. So
yeah, it certainly, and you can't really tell from watching the game on television, because all you can see is the yellow seats inside this stadium, but very apparent as we were coming into the ground of the silver nature of the outside of the ground. Now, just a bit of news. Well, we will go through the teams in detail as the broadcast gets beyond the game tonight, but in particular just the changes for tomorrow night's big game in Perth between Fremantle and Richmond. McFarlane, Ibbotson and also Jack Hanneth into the Fremantle side, with Subin, Sutcliffe and Smith out of the team. So I don't think Jack Hanneth's played a game as yet. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see him on debut for the Dockers at Subiaco tomorrow night. So McFarlane, Ibbotson and Hanneth in, Subin, Sutcliffe and Smith out. While for the Tigers, White, Batchelor, Helbig and Vlastui in, with Tuck rested. Vlastui. Is that
Vlastuin? Vlastuin.
Okay. Vlastuin.
He's the number one draft, or the first round draft.
Yeah,
pick,
Tuck, Chaplin, Morris and Conker out of the team, so there's some big outs. Second half's underway here, Dan.
We're playing for the Simpson-Henderson Trophy tonight, the first ever match for premiership points outside Australia, and there's a stalemate straight away. And the Simpson-Henderson Trophy acknowledging two men who embody the Anzac spirit. Both are part of the enduring image of carrying wounded on the back of a donkey during the Gallipoli campaign. And the players here are certainly showing some Gallipoli spirit as Robertson and McGlynn slide to the boundary. Bodies crash in. Good hand pass by McVeigh to McGlynn, hard on the boundary. Wobbly kick to half forward for the Swans. Pack collapses. Free kick. I think it's going to go Sydney's way. Parker was pushed forward. He was front of the pack. He plays on quickly. He's been very good so far. Towards the goal square. It's a loose ball. Sam Fisher's there. He goes over the line. Skidding over the line with the ball, and a rush behind. The first score of the second half going to the Swans, taking 30 seconds. 6:8:44 to 5:3:33.
Stanley to himself, runs to the pocket and drives a very long right foot drop punt to the outer side, and there's a whistle on play and a free kick in that pack. And it's going Sydney's way to Grundy, who will just put it back to where it came, the attacking zone for the Swans, but an uncontested mark for the Saints taken by Fisher. He hand passes to Dal Santo. Dal Santo's kick across the face of goal, marked by Dempster in the left back pocket.
And guys, we see already that the Saints have no players in their attacking half.
Indeed. Yes, so Dempster has to run across the face of goal, kicks to right half back, finds Lenny Hayes, who takes the mark. Hayes for the Saints chips forward, and Revolt, the required minimum of 15 up the ground.
Well, that's his 9th mark for the game, and he's coming up for his 20th possession here, Revolt. So
he's just forward of right half back though, so he kicks it to half forward. He can't kick it to himself. Sard was the target, and the Swans win out as Hanbury burst through, gave a hand pass to McVeigh. He's tackled by Jones. That suit continuing to wear Jared McVeigh as the ball goes over the boundary line on the outer side.
I know Hanbury had to get rid of that quickly, but he did panic because Jones was basically wearing McVeigh. Boundary throw in, slightly attacking side of the wing for the Saints. On the outer side, it falls to Big McAvoy after winning the tap originally. Wrestling hard Pike for the Swans, trying to jar his arms free as O'Keefe. Bird does. Defensive give to Smith. Wobbles a kick towards the bootlaces of McGlynn. Now Jude Bolton's there. Gets a little hand pass out. It's tough. Good play, Parker. Jude Bolton's clear of traffic. Now to Hanbury, stalked by an opponent. Feeds to Jude Bolton. Looking for Jack. Had his back to the play and had it knocked down close to the boundary by Stanley. Sydney may emerge again. Good play, Parker. Inside give to Reid. All the Blondies combining, and now Goods on the end of it. Marks 40 metres out. They had to work that. They're under pressure. St Kilda players were circling on that outer side, but they found a way through.
Well, it was just ugly football there by both teams, I think. A lot of mistakes. And then the one clear possession that Luke Parker gets, he finds Adam Goods directly in front, 30 metres out.
So Goods, four-time All-Australian, game 324, has kicked the goal. He doesn't miss too many, Goodsy, closing in on 400 career goals. Kicks his first tonight, 7th of the season. And there's a handy break now for Sydney. 7-8-50. The Saints are 5-3-33 on Grandstand AFL. The lead is just starting to get out of control, Tim, a little bit for the Saints.
Yeah, that's a big goal for the Swans, because the Saints would have wanted to come out, and they were in it at half-time, and it's the biggest lead of the match, I think, guys.
It is, yes.
And Tim and Quinton both made very good points. St Kilda, no one in their forward line to kick to, and Nick Revolt has to come so far up the ground to continually get his possessions. They need him deeper, but they just don't have the options up the ground there. Sydney have made the change. Heath Grundy's now gone to Revolt, and Teddy Richards is on playing on Justin Kaczynski.
McAvoy got the tap, but Stephen just mishandled at the Rove. It's back in the chop, and Sydney win out McVeigh with a quick hand pass to Everett. Everett kicks Sydney inside 50. It floats to the back of the pack. A chance for Stanley to mop up all the ball, evaded him, and now he has to go in and try and tackle to force a neutral. McVeigh brings it out. Oh, Malcheski kicks it out of the air, and it's marked by McGlynn at the top of the goal mouth.
He's done an Elwyn Davey, Q, except he didn't kick the goal this time.
The spirit of Nicholas Davis on a slippery night at the SCG there. How are you going, Cats fans? Here's McGlynn right in front. But that had a bit of the old N. Davis out of the air magic about it.
Having the last laugh, the Cats fans.
Oh, you just love the thinking there of Malcheski. Knew the pressure was coming, but just to think to kick it out of mid-air, I love it.
And McGlynn kicks the goal. And it's starting to get a little dangerous here for the Saints on foreign soil, because Sydney's kicked the last 3 goals in the game, and too quickly to start the second half. Sydney 8-8-56 leads St Kilda 5-3-33.
And we see that all the time. Coaches are going on about the forwards having to play in front of their man, and you never know where that football's going to come out. We're just looking at the replay on the TV screen. A volley out of mid-air, and I don't think the defender thought there was any chance of that being delivered there.
So they need the next one, the Saints, with this young team. Lots of experience at the top end, lots of young players at the bottom end. Their issue is there's a void with their list in the middle. A few clubs like that now that have had success over the last 4 or 5 years. Good play by Mattner, allowing Jack to come through and take the tap. Then he handballs to Hanbury, who's controlling that outer wing. He kicks towards half forward now. Reid is there. Parker's been enormous. He's handballed to Kennedy close to the boundary, who caught one high as he was trying to wriggle out of a tackle. In fact, it comes to Parker who'll get the free kick. Handballs to Hanbury, spinning by. Poor delivery inside 50. Mopped up by Sam Fisher under the pump for the Saints. Chance for young Murdoch. Can't take the mark. Armstrong's there at the full. Great give for the Swans to Bird. Back inside, attacking 50. No one can mark. Who's going to rove it? Might be Jude Bolton. Might be McGlynn. It's going to be the former Jude Bolton. Handballs in front of him. Runs out of room. Boundary throw in. Inside, attacking 50 for the Swans, who lead by 23 points on Grandstand AFL in windy Wellington. Although it's not windy tonight. 7 minutes gone, if that makes any sense.
They're pretty slippery as the ball's thrown in at attacking 50 for Sydney. Hayes tries to crash through. Didn't pick it up, but cleared a path for Geary. His hand pass for Ross. Ross hassled off it. Kicked clear by the Saints as it slapped on the boot. Towards the wing it goes and over the line. It was Armitage with the clearing kick. Nonetheless, didn't find a target.
And there's exactly why Justin Kaczynski can't play up the ground, because Teddy Richards just led him to the football there. Kaczynski was trailing him in by 4 or 5 metres.
Throw in on the western wing. At the back, Pike palms down. Well, Jones had a play at it and missed it. Kennedy crashes through for the Swans. He gives to Armstrong. He on to Jack by hand, and Jack pressured off his kick, kicked it out of bounds on the full. And Tim Stevens, I'm sure, the story of Gary Jack has been told this week, how his boy Kieran's gone on to become a star in AFL.
Big story, and obviously also with Mike Pike, one of the very, very few Canadian rugby players to score a try against the All Blacks, so he will be enjoying playing at one of the homes of the All Blacks as well.
He's one of the few rugby players to score a try against the All Blacks.
Especially in recent times. The kick's inside 50, it spills to the back, and it's mopped up by Hanbury. He kicks to the outer wing. Clean bowls everyone, but Robin runs back onto it for the Saints. Good hand pass now to Stanley. Over the top to Gilbert. Oh, he fumbles it. The ball's Dewey, though, to give him an excuse. And eventually Sydney win as Reid gets on the end of it and handballs over the top to McGlenn. It'll be kept alive by Hanbury, who, as I say, running's a muck around that outer wing. Kicks towards Jude Bolton. Squaring it up at centre half forward. He can't get control of it. He pushes his opponent, young Ross, away from the footy. Ross does well to lock it up for the Saints. They're not out of trouble yet. 20 out from the goal they're defending. Dempster a fumble, eventually grabs it but kicks blindly. It'll come straight back from Armstrong for the Swans.
Marks and kicks to O'Keefe, and in his younger days could have pinged it from here. Man on the mark, 51 out, doesn't. Gives to another veteran. And Jude Bolton's hamstrings. Well, the distance shouldn't test him from here as he takes an uncontested mark. About 40 out, but a tough angle for the man who's become a sharp shooter for the Swans. 1 goal tonight, 10 now for the season, and we're right behind this to take it out to 29 points. Jude Bolton on the right boot, he measures it, it's flirting, it hits the left upright, flush, and that's a behind. 4-goal lead for the Swans. 8-9 plays 5-3, 9.5 third term.
Couple of shots now from both teams have hit the inside of the behind post. Reid marks on the wing as St Kilda cleared it, but indiscriminately. A hand pass to Melcheski. He's right behind him. He'll bang it long to the outer forward pocket. Pike's in the chop up. St Kilda getting a chop out though with their eager defenders punching it over the boundary line. 30 around from the Swans goal at the city end. 57 plays 33. Saints haven't scored this quarter yet. Revolt, third man up, 2 hands it down at the front. Jones can't get it. McVeigh's man handballs to O'Keefe. O'Keefe a flying shot on the left from the forward pocket on the outer side. He misses.
Yeah, and you call Revolt's name there, Dan, going up for that ruck contest. He can't be there because you look down the other end of the ground and there's 4 Sydney players just sitting by himself. I know what he's trying to do in terms of just will his team across the line, but he can't be there.
Stanley with a very long kick in. It favoured Fisher. Fisher gives it off to Dennis Lane, and then a poor kick forward is marked by Ramp for the Swans. Ramp from half back kicks back to half forward. It buffets back towards St Kilda's Fisher. He lost it. Picked up by Bolton of Sydney. A rush kick to the goal mouth with no one there except his old premiership teammate from 05 in Shawnee Dempster. And Dempster takes the mark. Goes very short to the pocket. He's got a teammate in Ross. Ross marks. Now he kicks to a pack on the outer wing. A couple of Swans flew against each other there, and Stephen said, "I'll wait down and mop up your crumbs." Jack Stephen away for St Kilda. Kicks to a very open goal mouth. 3 on 2. Sydney with the numbers. Going back, Nick Smith has got it for Sydney. His hand pass under pressure. Well, almost went to Del Santo. Reid was there luckily to ensure that Del Santo couldn't pick it up easily. Over the line for a throw in Sydney with a St Kilda, should I say, with a rare 4-8 forward, Dan.
Sebastian Ross too, Quentin. The St Kilda youngster is from the Horsham Demons, one of the most successful football teams in the country. The Saints kick back inside, attacking 50. Armstrong, a nice disciplined spoil, puts the body on the line. Revolt tackles him. Jack helps him out on the up. O'Keefe storms through as Mumford got a hand in there as well for the Swans. Kicks in towards the centre of the ground. Mark dropped by Stanley. Spills over his teammate Roberton, the former Docker. Kicks long for the Saints back inside 50. There's no one home. You're right, Rammer. Richards reads it like you've been reading it all day. He marks last line of defence, 20 out from their defensive goal at the northern end, in short to Melchester.
What amazes me is that I can see it as clear as day up there. There's 6 coaches sitting up in the coaches box. They need to change their structure here, the Saints.
Or at least get the message out there not to kick it long to no one. as Malcheski kicks to the wing. No mark. St Kilda underneath it, but the kick forward, has it been marked by Kazitsky? Yes, it is. At right half forward, he kicks looking for Saad. He's spoiled from behind, and it's picked up and kicked clear by Richards as he whacks it back to the wing. And a good mark, though, for the Saints, taken by Dempster, just forward of the wing.
Good defender, Dempster.
Yeah, look, all Australian last year, very good defender.
Spears a pass to the pocket. Kazitsky the target. He had 2 to beat and had to spoil in the end. But St Kilda with some numbers out there. Del Santo involved, gave the hand pass to Stephen. Under pressure and under kick back to the corridor. Off hands Jones, a chance for the Saints. His hand pass ends up in the hands of Dennis Lane, but his hand pass backwards is to his old teammate in Goods, and Sydney can come away. Goods was on hands and knees, got back up as Kennedy and Mumford combined to give it back to him. Then Goods gives to Armstrong. Armstrong's kick finds a man. They're out the Swans. It's marked on the outer side and now driven forward by O'Keefe to the pocket for McGlynn. McGlynn takes the mark. Parker was a part of that chain as well.
He's been outstanding, Parker.
And McGlynn tight in the left forward pocket. Angle the only problem here because he's only 20 metres out.
Lady Penelope would be pleased, Q.
Ben McGlynn to make it a 31-point lead into the post again. What's going on with these posts here, Tim? We've got the fat posts. We used to talk about the fat pads at the SCG, remember?
I'm sure they're regulation posts, but
I'm sure they are.
the last 4 possessions for St Kilda where they've got clean football, they've hit a Sydney player flush on the chest, and they're just not getting enough football to be able to afford to give it away like that.
No, that's a good point as Stanley heads to himself, kicks towards McAvoy, can't mark it. Stevens there. He squeezes a kick through traffic as Armitage, who's been a bit quiet today, takes it, running the wrong way, and now he handballs to Hayes, who just runs into trouble. Does well after jumping off a couple of handball to Del Santo. His pass is all right, front edge centre square. Gilbert takes the mark, chips carefully inside 50. Mark not taken, but a St Kilda player got one high and should take a free kick. His treatment by Pike wasn't great.
Well, look, he made Saad earn that free kick.
Saad gets the free kick. Wasn't a great kick though, was it?
No, it hung there in typical Sam Gilbert fashion with some of his kicks there, but just one right across the chops there by Saad.
Well, Sydney have had a chance to really put the Saints away, but have been inaccurate. 8-11-59, and Saad at left half forward, 7 goals this year. One of a number of small forwards the Saints have in their squad. And this, for their first score of the third quarter, would come at the 15-minute mark. Not a great kick, off the side of the boot, and it sails out of bounds. There was a couple of hands on that. Pike, who gave away the free kick, helped it over the boundary beside the right behind post at the northern end of the Wellington Stadium. Saints in some trouble, down by 26 points, but deep into attack.
Stevens under the throw in, but tackled as soon as he got it. The umpire watches on. Malcheski tries to break free. It's back in the chop. Still all in the right forward pocket for St Kilda. Just a massive bodies. Rolling maul it would be if the Hurricanes were playing here. And the umpire's deciding, yep, it's neutralised at the back of that scrum, feed me. I'll throw it in the air. Toss in the air. With St Kilda still in attack. McAvoy tries to crash through. Got a hand on it. It wasn't really effective. Oh, geez. Armstrong tries to pick it up. It's just a matter of had a chance, lost it, had a chance, lost it, and now it's seen over the line. It's pretty hard footy, but
it hasn't moved. The ball hasn't moved from this forward pocket here for St Kilda for the past couple of minutes, but this is exactly what they need to do. They just need to lock it in and make Sydney work hard now to defend.
Boundary throw in, Pike taps it down. Hanbury has been excellent, tries a fresh airy. Hayes misses it. Attempted soccer by Kennedy, made about 2 metres. Gary attacks it. He's tackled by McGlynn. Jones receives it and then skids along the ground, out of bounds. Making ground, but not all that effective for the Saints. Yet another boundary throw in that forward pocket on the outer side of where we're broadcasting from, close to St Kilda's goals at the northern end. Off Pike's shoulder, hanging around Dennis Lane. He'll reel it back in and win the footy, and then got tackled. Handballs to McAvoy. He's going nowhere in a hurry, the big fellow. Swans players stalking him and then jumping on him as soon as he got control of it. 25 out directly in front. St Kilda deep into attack. Still down by 26 points. Still handing it down McAvoy. There is McVeigh, worried out of it by Shadow Jones. His hand pass finds Hayes. A hand pass to El Santo, who's a clean finisher. Nick puts it on the left boot and just misses to the right-hand side. Behind for the runner-up in the Brownlow in 2011. 5-4-34 the Saints. The Swans on grandstand AFL are 8-11-59 in the third term.
Well, importantly, it breaks a run of 6 consecutive scores for the Swans, but the kick-in was poor. And Montagna was able to feed the ball back inside 50 for Josh Saunders in his first game. Taking a mark about 45 metres out. So this would be something memorable for Josh Saunders. Playing his first game. He runs out onto the right boot and drives it long. It's not going to have the carry to the line. And Sydney there in number to rush it through for a point.
He's come on for Tom Lee. Tom Lee subbed out.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
So, Malchevsky. Low zooming kick. Good play by Gilbert to knock at the ground, but crumbed at the front by Kennedy. Spiral punts it towards half forward on the commentary side. Collected though by Stanley at the back for the Saints. Handball to Montagna. Montagna looks ahead looking for Hayes. Hangs onto the mark under some pressure from Matner. They've shoved him forward, but 50 metres not given against the veteran Marty Matner as the ball jarred free of Hayes' hands on impact. As he lost balance, he kicks towards half forward. Kazitsky's up, he can't mark it. At the full road by Del Santo on the non-preferred right. His kick's no good, and there's another example of a player hanging back for the Swans and marking territory. It's Malchevsky. Goods now marks. Handballs to Hanbury. Got crunched by opponents. Not good play. Turnover won by McAvoy of the Saints. Sydney flirting a bit here, and their disposal and awareness outside defensive 50 and inside defensive 50 not clean, and this sets up a goal opportunity for Dennis Lane, marking on his chest.
Well,
he's at right half forward.
Sorry, Dan, they're having their moment here in the quarter, St Kilda, where they're dominating play, but they're not getting any result on the scoreboard. So it's an even 4 goals at the moment. I'd almost say this is a must-kick goal here for Dennis Lane.
5-5-35 to 8-11-59. St Kilda have dominated the last few minutes, but haven't scored a goal. He likes to score a goal, Dennis Lane. Loves to score a goal. Who can forget that brilliant goal in a final for the Swans against Carlton? Qualifying final at the Olympic Stadium in 2010 from a similar spot. Maybe a bit closer in. Great goal by Dennis Lane. And they stay in touch, the Saints. 6-5-41. The Swans are 8-11-59 at the 20-minute mark of the third term.
Well, they just hang around, don't they, the Saints here in this game. So St Kilda will be looking for the kill. They want to kill the game off in this quarter here, the Swans, but they just can't do it. So St Kilda have had all the momentum probably the last 5 minutes, and that was that was really their first true score of the quarter there. Del Santo missed a snapshot earlier, but need to continue this momentum. Big centre clearance coming up here.
3 goals the difference. Getting late in the third term. Bit of a wobbly bounce from the umpire. He'll recall it. So it will be tossed up in the middle of the ground to restart play. And the bounce not allowing either ruckman a fair contest. McAvoy with the hand at that ball up. Ross puts his toe to it to try and get it to half forward for the Saints, but Everett gets in the way. Hand pass to Ramp. Ramp's hand pass back in the chop. Well, it came back to him through Armstrong, and then Ramp gives it on to Smith. Smith from the defensive side of the wing kicks to half forward. Robertson perched in front of O'Keefe, couldn't take the mark. Now it's on the ground. Ross comes back to help out. Well played, young man, for the Saints. Hand passes to Robertson, who whacks it clear from left half back to the wing. It pitches as Kazitsky and Richards wrestle. Who's going to get the free kick? It's a raffle. It's Richards' free kick. Cozzy was grabbing onto Richards in the wrong manner.
For obvious reasons, he's enjoying playing on Cozzy a bit more, Teddy Richards.
He decides to kick it all the way back to centre half back, and Ramp takes the mark on defensive 50.
That was a wobbly old kick that almost didn't find the mark in Dane Ramp. His pass is okay to Armstrong.
It's been good, Armstrong. Been really lively for him.
Yep. So is Hanbury, who marks at his chest right near the circles. Plays on quickly. Launches a long bomb inside 50. 2-on-1 against O'Keefe. One of them, Robertson, makes a very effective spoil. Lovely destroy and puts it out of bounds, clearing defensive 50. The Swans haven't been there too often at the City end in recent times, as Stephen at the drop can't take it cleanly. Hanbury can. Grundy a hand pass defensively to Armstrong off the side of the boot. Up and down in the mine shaft. It's whacked forward by Kennedy. Now to Hanbury, back to Kennedy. Squeezes inside 50. McGlynn is there after Gilbert slipped over. He slipped over too. Falls to Jude Bolton, the goal kicking specialist. Hooks a left footer, and it's touched right on the line. Nathan Wright did very well. Almost had the carry, but not quite by Jude Bolton. And it's 8-12-60 the Swans. The Saints 6-5-41. The margin 19 points, close to three-quarter time for Sydney.
Well, now Revolt's doing the kicking duties, and that's where he can kick it to himself. Then he runs to the pocket, bangs it to a contest, but Sydney with the numbers to bring it back in. Kennedy slips over at the crucial moment, picked up by Revolt, who kicks it clear. And, well, not over the boundary. Cleaned up by Richards for the Swans. He whacks it back in from the wing. Inside attacking 50. Off hands McVeigh. Chance in the pocket. Slick hands to Parker. Parker grovels it through from a tight angle from 15 metres out. And a good little steadier from the Swans. They're back out beyond the 4-goal mark. It's a 25-point lead for Sydney as Luke Parker gets his first goal of the night. Sydney 9-12-66 leads St Kilda's 6-5-41. Rema.
As good as Nick Revolt's been tonight, that's ridiculous. Why is he kicking out? The ball comes back in, he gets the quick kick back out. Who does it go to? It goes straight to Ted Richards. The ball goes straight back inside 50 and the Swans kick a goal. Nick Revolt needed to be where Ted Richards was receiving that football, not kicking out from full back. Or not rebounding from 50. You're seeing now he's exhausted. I'm not questioning his work rate tonight, but he should not have been there in that play.
McAvoy the tap. Bird can't get clean possession. He'll have another crack again for the Swans. Footed forward cleverly by Sydney. And it was McGlynn, and now Bird and Malcheski get their kicks blanketed. And good play by Saunders through traffic, the youngster, to the other first game of Murdoch on the non-preferred right, and an excellent defensive mark taken by Richards. Been superb.
It's still a chest mark in your defensive 50, and the St Kilda coaches really have to be very worried about that.
Kick to the outer wing. Sydney with numbers at the drop. Hanbury a hand pass to McVeigh, the skipper, who got swung around in an arc in a tackle, and the ball is dislodged and out of bounds in front of the Sydney dugout. Josh Kennedy coming back on. Had plenty of it again. Averaging 27 possessions a game so far this year. Sydney's best and fairest of last year. Mumford got a couple of hands on that one in the ruck contest. Good tackle laid by Mumford. Ball slips out the back, and they have the numbers there, the Saints. If they can just get hold of it, they can't. Hurried kick comes towards the middle of the ground, and Matner, great hand pass on the up to the busy Armstrong. Now to Nick Smith on the left, kicks to half forward, going back with the flight. Geary, the lookalike, rights at the back for the Saints. Got worried out of it in the tackle. His hand pass falls to Jack of Sydney, and a hand pass to O'Keefe. Stand start kick inside 50. Pike can't mark it. Fisher punches it down to Stanley, and St Kilda hold firm for the time being with a defensive give to Montagna.
His kick wide, looking for Hayes, doesn't get there. Everett got in the way, took a mark, played on quickly, looking for McVeigh. He didn't pick it up, but it's rushed to the goal line, and McGlynn gets one high at the top of the goal mouth, and then he hand passed it through for a point. That was bizarre. Now, I just listening to myself call that. That happened, didn't it? McGlynn just hand passed it through for a point. I think he was hoping for someone on the last line. Nonetheless, it's a behind.
I'm not sure.
67 plays 41. The quick kick in has resulted in a free kick to Jack Stephen at left half back.
Yeah, well, Matner escorted it over the boundary and was pinned. Can't quite understand that. He had about a metre to move. And 50 metres against Ramp on Dennis Lane, who can keep the Saints in touch, because as we know, he's a proven goal kicker. 27 gone. He'll come from the wing to left half forward at the northern end here in Wellington. No, I think this will still test him. He's accurate. I don't think he's long enough though. If it was Quentin Lynch, maybe. So Trent Dennis Lane traded to the Saints from the Swans in the off season. Will kick from 48. It's not a bad effort. Doesn't come back enough. Heading right, then came back left, but not sufficiently. And an opportunity goes begging for the Saints who trail 6-6-42 the Swans and 9-13-67 on the stroke of three-quarter time.
And again, the Swans move it out quickly. Kick mark inside 50 and then the long ball to the wing, and Everett's there to take the grab. He's actually defensive side of the wing for Sydney. Drives it now towards half forward. Kazitsky first hand in the pack. Underneath it was Geary. He's had a busy night. His hand pass doesn't really find a target. And there's the three-quarter time siren. Sydney in control here. A 25-point lead for the reigning premiers. Plenty of will shown out there, but it's been a messy, tough night in slippery conditions, and the Swans have extended at every break. They were 2 points in front at quarter time, 10 points in front at half time, and in that term Sydney kicked 3 goals 6 to St Kilda's 1 goal 3, and it's now a 25-point lead for the reigning premiers. Sydney 9-13-67 to St Kilda's 6-6-42. The goal kickers for the Swans, McGlynn has 2 and singles to McVeigh, Kennedy, Jack, Bolton, Richards, Parker and
Goods.
Adam Goods also kicked a goal in that term. Well, 6 goal kickers for the Saints. Well, 6 goals kicked, 5 goal kickers, 2 to Nick Revolt and singles to Seb Ross, Trent Dennis-Lane, Lee Montagna and Justin Kazitsky.
So 26-point lead to Sydney. Some work for the Saints to do in the last quarter. Good win by the Bombers today in the AFL in the Anzac Day match in front of 93,000, more than 93,000 at the MCG. They won 18-13, 121. And the Magpies 10-15-75. David Zaharakis, outstanding, won the Anzac Day medal. 34 possessions and 4 goals. Jason Winderlich has had a lot of injuries in his career, but a valuable member of that side. Booted 3 for the Bombers. Alan Tuvey suffered what appeared to be a serious injury near the end of the match. We'll have more on that as the days go on, as we continue with round 5 tomorrow on Grandstand AFL. And of course that match tomorrow is a big one between Richmond and the Fremantle Dockers, and the Tigers making a few changes to their side. The Dockers as well. We'll go through those at the end of our coverage tonight. Now in the NRL, a win to the Roosters. They beat St George. We'll update Melbourne Storm and the New Zealand Warriors shortly.
Three-quarter time in Wellington, Sydney with a 25-point lead, and the Swans looking to bounce back from their loss to Geelong last week, while the Saints staring down the barrel of a 1-4 start to the season. The Premiers 9-13-67 to the Saints 6-6-42. Our experts tonight, Adam Ramanauskas, well known to you, and Tim Stevens, a member of the board of New Zealand AFL, an umpire and a winner of the International Cup in 2005, was it, Tim, as a former player? Just can't hear you at the moment. Tim, have another try. Can't hear you at the moment. We'll tell you, you can tell us about your playing exploits in a moment. I'll just give the stats to three-quarter time. For the Swans, Hanbury's got 28 possessions, Jared McVeigh 21, Josh Kennedy 21, Luke Parker 20 and Tony Armstrong 20. While for St Kilda, Hayes with 23, Revolt 22, Stephen 19, Geary 18 and Montagna 17. Tim, I think we can hear you now. You look almost big enough for key position.
Yeah, fullback.
Okay.
Got a nosebleed if I went past the centre, but we were lucky enough in the second International Cup to play Papua New Guinea on the MCG, and look, for any aspiring AFL player from around the world, coming to the home of Aussie rules was a real treat.
And how many expats in the team?
The rules of the International Cup prevent any player who has lived in Australia between the ages of 12 and 17. So your formative years can't be based in Australia. So we were all Kiwis.
Excellent.
And the Papua New Guineans are obviously very keen, and the Irish always bring down a very strong side.
And do you see any way back for the Saints here, Tim?
Oh, look, I think you certainly can't. I think, Adam, you said you can't fault their effort, but they're just having to work so much harder for their points than Sydney are, and Sydney seem to be able to withstand the pressure, get a couple of easy balls out of their own backline and convert that into points very quickly.
Well, I think you summed it up perfectly there. Sydney can just continually absorb the pressure, and they can just then find a way to score really quickly, which to me suggests that they should run away with this game. Critical critical. The first goal this quarter has to be by the Saints to give them any hope in this game. Probably for me, they need to swing a Reece Stanley forward, I think, to try and give a bit of a different mix there. But let's see what happens here.
Final term underway in Wellington. Sydney started with a 25-point advantage and kicked clear of the scrimmage in the middle of the ground by Geary for the Saints. Only towards half forward, Sard has to play tackler as the ball is controlled to ground level by Nick Smith. It's in the chop. Matner tries to come out with it. He's tackled strongly. Oh, a big pick-up and dump rugby union style there as Ryan O'Keefe tried to bullock his way through. And the umpire says that was fair, but now it's my ball. And it will be thrown up at right half forward for St Kilda. The Saints attacking the city end of Wellington in this final term. They need the first couple to really keep the contest alive as it's tossed in the air. Pike came from behind to tap down, but Montagna got it. He's tackled by Jack, then Jack won the footy. Gave it to Bird to O'Keefe. O'Keefe's kick smothered by McAvoy. Good pressure. McAvoy and Del Santo there, ensuring the ball goes over the line. Yep. Diving smother from McAvoy, and a free kick to Del Santo as it came off the toes of Bird, in fact, out of bounds on the full.
Del Santo inside 50, Revolt in the middle, can't take the mark at the Rovers' side. Hurry, boot the ball, it's bouncing the wrong way, behind.
All right, now's the chance here. St Kilda need to really squeeze the Sydney Swans up here. Keep the football inside their 50. Apply pressure and try get a goal out of it.
Melchesky, one of the heroes in the grand final last year, kicked Sydney's first and last goal. Jetta, they've injected the Savi marks between fullback and centre half back, and there's 50 metres as well. What was that for? A bit of gobbing off, was there?
No, over the mark.
By how much? I mean, this is where I think there should be 15 metres. Jetta runs away from Dennis Lane and inside 50, bouncing ball, and off one step, Kennedy. That wasn't a bad effort, but he kicks it out of bounds on the full. That was incredible play. Jetta getting a 50-metre penalty, and the ball all of a sudden finds itself well inside, attacking 50 for Sydney at the northern end.
And I think it's Andre Everett that's off for Sydney with the boundary on the far side, and of course red on red. I'm pretty sure that Everett's got the vest on.
Yeah, that's him.
That's big Mike Pike there, that contested mark.
Went
back really hard, and he actually hurt Justin Kaczynski.
So Pike boots Sydney back into attack with the Saints unable to clear it properly. But now Pike's kick is marked by Gilbert, and Gilbert's got the grab for the Saints in the left back pocket. Sam Gilbert with his left boot drives it around the eastern wing. Off the pack, Pike's fist the most telling play, but it went straight to Jones, who gathered it, kicked it over the wing. Revolt comes out, takes the mark. He is trying everything he can. Big St Nick, he turns and kicks to half forward. He's got Armitage uncontested. He marks, plays on from 55. It's getting to goal. It's fouled the major opening, but punched through by Reb at the last moment. As Reb got there with a metre to spare, it was on target, but it's a minor. St Kilda 6-8-44 trail, Sydney 9-13-67.
He was caught in two minds there, Armitage, whether to pass the goal to pass it to Sard or get the kick for goal.
And ramps in the chain as he kicks towards the outer wing, off hands to Gilbert. Not a good kick, but picked up by Ross, who's far too slow, the boy from Horsham.
What's the difference with that?
Back? No.
What is the difference with the one in the second quarter?
No, I agree with that, Rama. He was pushed forward. Handballs to Melchesky. Kicks towards half forward now. O'Keefe had it fisted away at the Raven, attacking it hard as Gilbert. He lost control of it. O'Keefe wins it back. Defensive give to Reid around the outer wing. Kicks Sydney inside 50. Mark dropped by Dempster. Goods knocks away. They want the killer blow. Parker's there. Can he pick it up in the pocket? Steady's on the right. He kicks the goal, and I think Sydney are home. 2 goals to Luke Parker. Fitting that he would probably put the last nail in St Kilda's coffin. He's been superb tonight. Sean Dempster just couldn't control it. You must control it, boys, when Adam Goods is right next to you.
Just the frustration for me of that holding the ball decision. That should have been, as it paid, in the back like it was in the second quarter. All the players want is consistency from the umpires. That should have been in the back. The ball goes down the other end, goal. It's just really, that's what really frustrates me about some of these rules with the umpires.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ramo, the player just had a bit too much time.
It's no different.
Exactly.
It's no different, Quinton.
But that's what I think the umpires see that. I think, oh, well, he probably should have got rid of it. Even though the tackle was so many eyes. Illegal. Back in the middle. Sydney defensive side of the pack get the clearance out towards the wing. Jetta gives a hand pass to Ramp. A rush kick to half forward looking for Parker. He couldn't grab it. In the choppers, McGlynn coming through his jack. He's tackled fiercely. Oh, and that's holding the ball. As hot as you'd like. Sam Gilbert with the free kick. Play onto advantage. It's kicked to half forward. Revolt marks a kick and a half from goal. At centre half forward. He chips into the corridor and the mark is taken by Sard. Sard takes a chest mark. 45 out directly in front. It's got this very unique kicking style. Ahmed Sard on goal.
Goes back to almost centre half back at the moment.
He is back at, he's almost at halfway. And the man on the mark is 45 metres out from goal.
It's pretty effective though. Generally.
I'd love to have the clock on him from actually when he took the mark, because the rule as it states is 30 seconds.
Well, you wouldn't be able to hear the umpire yell out that's 15.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 30 metres away from the mark. Very upright with his body, with the ball placed out in front of his belt buckle. He's walking. It's almost Warwick Capper-like, except for the stutter before he kicks. He's walked 20 metres.
Got to get on with it.
And now he takes 3 steps, strikes it with the right boot, and he's kicked a point.
After all that.
Oh, what an anti-climax.
Off to the right. Sydney 73, St Kilda 45.
They didn't bring the law in then, did they, the new law? Grundy receiving in the back pocket on the outer side. He kicks towards the wing. O'Keefe, good hands in front. The veteran takes a classy mark for the Swans, still just behind the wing.
I'd love to have a non-educated Kiwi who just came along tonight and ask them what they thought of that just then.
On the eastern side, he kicks to a contest. Loose ball chance for Del Santo. Got buffeted off it, but he lays a good tackle. But somehow Parker emerges with it. How well's he played tonight? Hurried boot to ball, Bird while being tackled. Sydney just keeps shoving it on. Jude Bolton caught behind in that contest. Opposite number 24, Dempster's there. Reid gets a hand pass out, and then a great tackle laid by Hanbury. Saints still aren't clear of defensive 50. McAvoy tries to. Kicks straight into bodies. Hands and knees O'Keefe. Looking for McVeigh. Had the hand pass knocked away by McVeigh's opponent, Jones. Jones then kicks terribly. Rampy drop it. He probably should have taken it. His teammate Grundy come in front of him, but good enough to get boot to ball, and then it slips through McVeigh's fingers. It's like a cake of soap, and now Stephen wins it for the Saints, but's tackled.
He's tackled and loses it. McVeigh, underground hand pass there, trying to link up with Bolton, but Bolton's too close to the line.
Jack Stephen learned a very, very valuable lesson there. He tried to be a little bit cute with Kieran Jack. Kieran Jack just followed his hips and just nailed him into the ground with that tackle.
Sydney lead by 28 points, approaching the 8-minute mark of the final term. McAvoy thumps it from the boundary throw-in. Jones has tried very hard. He got a toe poke there to get it to Montagna, who kicks the Saints clear. From right half back towards half forward, Revolt takes a one-on-one contested mark against Grundy. He's too far out to score. Terrific centering kick. Mark taken at centre half forward by Geary. He's 55 out, sells a dummy, has a long shot and kicks a goal. It keeps the flame flickering for optimistic Saints fans as Geary has his first of the night, and Sydney's lead is narrowed to 22. The Swans 10-13-73, St Kilda 7-9-51, and we've travelled 8.5 in the final term.
Yeah, and I think we saw really what St Kilda's problems are there. They went Montagna, Riewoldt, Geary, goal, but these guys, there just aren't enough of those experienced players to be able to do it for 4 quarters.
Look, I think what's pleasing, is that the New Zealand public have seen Nick Riewoldt at his very, very best tonight. He's taken 12 marks. He's probably had 25 possessions and kicked the 2 goals. He is a true champion of our game. He's probably been a little bit down. He's kicked 12 goals to start the season, but been probably a little bit down with form, but showing tonight what a champion he is.
Mumford the tap, Hayes the takeaway for the Saints. Inside 50, Riewoldt can't mark it, off hands. Spillage to Richards. Kicks Sydney to the outer side, but he turns it over. Right marks for the Saints. Handball to Del Santo in short again. Mark taken by Dennis Lane, who kicks into McVeigh. Back to Dennis Lane. Hooks a right footer inside 50 for the Saints. Smith that hit him in the face. It bounced in front of him. Here's an opportunity. He can pick it up. Stephen snaps around the body. 2 in a row. 2 in a row to the Saints. And they're not done with yet. And we know who the Wellington crowd are supporting here tonight. They want the Saints to get over the line, and they're coming back with a vengeance. 8-9-57, Sydney 10-13-73 at the 10-minute mark of the final quarter.
Well, Tim, what do you make of a goal like that?
Well, look, I think that's just the excitement of AFL for all of Wellington to see. That was an absolutely fantastic kick, right from deep in the pocket, across his body.
Just absolutely no daylight there for Jack Stephen to work with, but that's just the skill of these games. Regardless if it's the slippery conditions tonight, the players can still have the ability to kick goals like that.
The contest needed it. 16 points the lead to Sydney. Time enough for St Kilda if good enough. In the middle they get another clearance. It's whacked inside, attacking 50 by Armitage. Very, very wide, and over the boundary line it goes. But it's inside the attacking zone for the Saints, with the throw-in to be effected about 40 metres out between right half forward and the right forward pocket. 2 in 90 seconds to the Saints to bring it back to 16 points. The throw-in goes over the head of the ruckman, behind the pack. Picked up there by Matner, but he was under pressure. McGlynn tries to kick it clear, but Jones picks up for St Kilda from 60 out. He whacks it on the left boot to the goal mouth. Sydney advantaged here, and Ramp got to the drop and takes a pretty comfortable chest mark in the end despite the late pressure from Dennis Lane. Ramp with a hand pass to Hanbury at full back. Hanbury kicks to the right half back flank. Jetta the target. He's got pressure there, but he's able to pick it up and get away from young Brody Murdoch. A kick around the wing from Jetta, looking for Goods. Good body use though from Sam Fisher to just body Goods under the ball and take the mark.
A big win there by Sammy Fisher with that contest with Good, and a critical win, because St Kilda need to take this ball forward and score and keep applying the pressure to the Swans.
They went backwards though to Robert, and he kicks towards Stanley, who dropped a sitter. Luckily Del Santo was at his feet. He grabs the crumbs, kicks to the wing, but Jude Bolton outmarks his opponent and marks on the outer wing. That's Geary. He's been very good tonight, as we said. Kicks to Goods, gets in front of Stanley, arches the back and takes the mark right half forward. Plays on quickly, kicks into the pocket. Chance there for Parker, can't mark it. McGlynn, he emerges, slides along the turf and out of bounds with the footy. Boundary throw in 30 around.
Just forever dangerous, Ben McGlynn. He's always at the feet. You feel like something's always going to happen when he's around the football. 16-point lead to the Swans. We might have gone a bit early a few minutes ago with the Swans. We thought they might have had the game won. Birds hard on the boundary, receives a hand pass, hooks cleverly around the body, but it bounces across the face and out of bounds in the opposite forward pocket at the northern end. 10-13-73 Sydney. St Kilda with the last couple. 8-9-57. They've hung around all night. 13 gone, final quarter.
Grandstand AFL in Wellington from the throw-in. Plenty of Saints around the footy. Well, Hayes had a given to him. Umpire says play on. Hayes kicks it clear, but just beyond defensive 50 mark, taken by Malcheski. The bionic one kicks to the pocket, looking for Bolton. He's spoiled off the ball, roved by Jones of St Kilda. Off a step, he kicks a high ball towards the wing. 3-on-2, Sydney favoured. The fly came from Matner. He couldn't take the mark. Or was it Grundy? It was Grundy who couldn't take the mark. Malcheski got it though. Gave to Richards, then to Grundy. Back to Richards. They're under pressure here. Ramp just got a kick away as he was dumped by Dennis Lane. The ball to half forward for Sydney. Roved by Kennedy. He swivels on the right, kicks back to the corridor. And the umpire's going to award a mark here to Dempster, although it looked like the Sydney player had been pushed in the back. Nonetheless, play on as the Saints get out of trouble. It's with Fisher on the outer side.
Gilbert to Fisher, avoids a couple of tackles. Quick give to Del Santo, getting right into this match now. Kicks to the wing. In front, Sard from behind Smith. A nice disciplined spoil finds the boundary.
And guys, the last 3 times that Jones has picked up the footy, he's looked downfield and there has been absolutely no one to kick to.
16 points the lead for the Swans. Taken by Armstrong. Gets the kick smothered. Mopped up by Ramp at the back, who's been okay in the last quarter. Handballs to Bird on the outer wing. He kicks in the direction of Reid, who can't take the mark through his fingers. Boundary throwing.
He's horribly out of touch, Sam Reid.
Yeah, he is.
That ball just went straight through his hands there.
Back into play. Pike taps it to the back. Running onto it, Ross. Armitage hurries a kick through traffic. Finds the boundary between wing and half forward for the Saints.
Still plenty of time left in this quarter. We're coming probably to about the halfway point here, so St Kilda just need to continue to apply the pressure. They just need to get close enough.
McAvoy taps it to the back. Jack lost his footing. Handballs through traffic, intercepted by young Saunders, the sub in his first game for the Saints. But the kick carries the pack, and waiting at the pack. It's happened a lot tonight. Last line of defence, Matner for the Swans.
Poor kick though, was looking wide for Goods, but it went too wide and it was lucky just to pitch inside the boundary line before going over. And Goods had a good little break on Sam Fisher. Should have been an uncontested mark, but the target wasn't found from the kick, and a throw in at right half forward for St Kilda is the result. McAvoy tried to thump it forward. Running through the pack is Matner. He realised his kick was poor before he lost the footy though. Stephen has a chance. He's had 3 against him though. O'Keefe had it, lost it, picked up by Bird. Now Bolton's got it. He can't get a clean possession. Diving in his Ross. Oh, fierce tackle applied there by Ted Richards on Josh Saunders. That was a ripper, and we'll see a bounce at half forward.
Welcome to AFL footy, youngster.
Yeah.
The Geelong Falcons.
Ball thrown up. Sydney lead the game by 16 points. It's at half forward for St Kilda. Really important 50-50 stoppage here. Goes back to the ground. Murdoch tries to pick it up. He doesn't really get a telling stat. Bird kicks it off the ground to the wing for Sydney. Good, spent it before he got it. Now Bird goes in again. Montagna tackles him. Great intensity from both teams here. Stephen has the ball, kicks it inside 50 for the Saints. Double-fisted spoil by Richards over the boundary line and a throw in.
Well done by the Saints here. Just moving this ball forward inch by inch. We thought the Swans were out there. The Saints are really defending well.
Locking down, half forward. Saints into attack at the city end. McAvoy the tap. Revolt the road, tackled. Kicks into bodies. 35 out from their attacking goal. Jones can't take the footy with him. Players really intent on putting their bodies on the line here. Good old hard fashion stuff here. 17 gone.
Next goal's important, guys.
Very important, Tim. The Saints need to get it. Really put pressure on the Swans. Pike leans in and wins it. Stephen on hands and knees. Montagna there. With him is McGlenn, who does want to lay a tackle when Montagna was still trying to grab control of it. It wasn't out of his grasp completely. And it spills over the line and out of bounds in the forward pocket. Back into play. Pike two-handing it down. O'Keefe spinning by. Can't get his hands free now. He can to Bird. Trying to clear congestion. Jetta sockers it to Goods. Goods feigns the hand pass. Now to Jetta. Now they're out if he can control it. Geary's pretty quick. He's with him on the outer wing. So Jetta keeps soccering it, making valuable ground for the Swans. And they've cleared the danger territory of St Kilda's attacking 50. They've put it out of bounds. Saints supporters saying deliberate. Don't know about that. Boundary throw in 55 around from Sydney's goal.
And O'Keefe and Dal Santo with a ruckman. And it's back over the boundary line. It was interesting, that kick off the ground from Jetta. There's no one up forward. But he was half a chance of running it down, I suppose. Now the ruckman get there. Pike tapped down. Gave to Jack to McVeigh, but all under pressure. And back over the boundary. It's been a slippery, hard footy to win tonight, Rammer. But the Swans have had the better of it to date. 16 points to lead at the 18-minute mark final term. As it's thrown in. Well, Stanley came over the top to try and whack it clear at the ruck contest. Ross picks up. O'Keefe's got him. Hayes threw it out. That was like a number 7 in another code here. He got it to Dal Santo, and now they're out as it's whacked on the boot of Saunders from the wing towards half forward for the Saints. Going back, Revolt applied pressure there to ensure the mark was not taken by Grundy, but was able to recover. And then Revolt follows up, tackles Richards. Did he push him in the back? Umpires watching the balls come out. Play on, he says. Half a chance for Dennis Lane, top of the goal mouth. Gets a hand pass out looking for Wright. Wright just couldn't pick it up. And it's Sydney clearing in the end as Rant puts his left boot to it in the left back pocket.
Clean bowls, a number of them, including Goods. Taking hard, Jude Bolton. Hanbury on the wing. Left hand pass straight to Gilbert. Turnover for St Kilda. Hayes is out the back. Picks it up. Close to the boundary. Throws it on the boot. Richards in the middle. Can't mark it. Pushed over by Sard. Coming the other way, Armstrong. Makes a great contest. And he finds Jack.
Jack Gonley clears danger for a moment because he's kicked it straight to Robertson.
Just get it back in there. Keep putting him under pressure.
Robertson chips it straight down the throat of the Swans. Ramp dropped the mark uncontested in the left back pocket, but picked it up, put on a fend, then kicks it clear. 3-on-1, St Kilda. No chance for Hanbury. Robertson's got it again. Just forward of the wing for the Saints. Sydney lead by 16 points. The kick across the ground from Robertson. Marked there by Murdoch. Murdoch gives the hand pass to Dempster. Dempster from long range kicks to the goal mouth. Big pack of players at ground level. Chance for St Kilda. It's flipped out to Hayes. Defensive hand pass Montagna. Off a step from the pocket. Lee Montagna! Oh yes, what a goal! Late in the game at the Cape Tin to keep the Saints in it. He's got a couple. And the lead for the Premiers is just 10 points. The Saints have kicked the last 3. We've got a game at the 20-minute mark of the final term.
Well, this is what we wanted. We wanted it to come down to a grandstand finish. We've still got 6 minutes remaining in the game, so plenty of time for both teams here. And what I loved about that, St Kilda just continued to work hard, locked the football in. It was ugly. It was absolutely ugly football, but then the class shown out at the end. Lenny Hayes, he could have blazed away quite easily at the goal, but was able to get the handball back to Lee Montagna for a goal.
Finishing all over them, the Saints. Tap down. Important breakaway for O'Keefe. Spins out of tackles. Grubbers it along the turf inside 50. Reid putting the body on the line. Gilbert with him. Stanley helps him out for the Saints. Not a great tackle laid by Jetta, but he knocks him off it. Inside 50. McGlynn runs onto it. Sockers it off the ground. Close to the boundary. They want it out of bounds to the Swans, and Mighty Mouse delivers. 15 around from their attacking goal at the northern end.
I'll tell you what, guys, there's no doubt that Wellington's adopted the Saints. They went up when that last goal went through.
73 plays 63. Sydney have conceded the last 3 goals. It's even their attacking zone though. Hayes can't take it. Ross is there. Been okay in the last quarter, the youngster. Hand pass to McAvoy for the Saints, but hits the chest of Richards on the wing. Brings it back inside attacking 50 for the Swans. Big pack. No one can take the mark. Dempster was in the chop up there for the Saints. Gilbert can't grab it. Saunders has given them some run now. Handballs to Geary around the outer wing. Kicks quickly. Kazitsky marks and killed it down by 10 points. Kicks inside 50. Waiting at the back. Montagna has become a star. Armstrong arrives now. Hard on the boundary. Swings on the right. Rebound with a target. No, won't get there. Grundy marks again. Handballs to Jetta. The Swans dodge another bullet. They lead by 10 points, but the Saints, gee, they're coming.
And Montagna had a man with a short pass inboard, went for the longer option, and it's come unstuck as O'Keefe from centre half back kicked Sydney to the outer wing. Mark is taken by Kennedy, just defensive side of the wing. He blasts it with a driving right foot drop punt. There's a whistle on play. Kennedy got dumped after he kicked it by Kazitsky.
Just so silly. So silly by Kazitsky there. Why does he need to do that?
So the ball all the way upfield, and a Sydney free kick for Jude Bolton on attack. Was it Bolton? No, it's Goods who's going to take it. Just watching the replay. Oh, that was just so lazy and undisciplined from Justin Kazitsky. And, you know, we're talking about a guy that's got more than a decade of senior football experience. Nonetheless, Goods from 55 out doesn't go for goal. His chip to the top of the goal square is marked by McAvoy of St Kilda.
Nothing kick.
Well, nothing in the end.
Yeah.
So McAvoy on the last line for the Saints, who trail by 10 points at the 23-minute mark.
Plays on, gets pulled off his kick slightly at the end. No mark taken though for the Swans. Loose ball comes out to Robertson on his own. He gathers just behind the wing. On the western side, good shepherding by Stanley allows him through, then he gets held up and he turns it over with a horror. Matner's in front. He should have driven it long. He looked like he was clear. Then he got caught up. He got caught in two minds and tried a little foot pass, a one-on-one with Armitage, and Matner chips in, gets the free kick, kicks down the line for the Swans, close to the boundary, their best friend at the moment. Mumford climbing in from behind, finds the boundary between wing and half forward. Sydney haven't scored for a while. They need a goal here to put it beyond doubt. St Kilda will kick the last 3.
Not since the 4-minute mark, Dan. So that's 20 minutes without a score for the Swans. The ball thrown in, attacking side of the wing for Sydney. Bird's underneath it to slap it on his boot inside 50. And it's ricocheted off the boot of Dempster over the line on the bounce, and a throw in the left forward pocket for the Swans. Yes, the Saints 3-1 unanswered since the 4-minute mark to turn a 29-point deficit into a 10-point deficit. The ball bobbling around in Sydney's attacking zone. Goods had half a chance, couldn't pick it up. Stevens had his ball pinched, and it's now over the line as Bolton sees it over. And the attendance has been semaphored, 22,546. 22,546 to see the first ever AFL Premiership game on foreign soil here in Wellington. Throw in at left half forward for Sydney. Saints need the next goal. The timepiece is their enemy as much as the scoreboard now. Bobbling ball ends up with Nick Smith for Sydney. 60 out, he slaps it on his boot under pressure to the goal mouth. Good work there from Dempster against his old teammate in O'Keefe. Dempster gives to Fisher. Fisher's tackled close to the behind post. Diving in is Hanbury to ensure it's locked up. Is it going to come out? Yes, it does. And then I think off the boot of Jetta. Out on the full? No, it was over before that. Throw in the left forward pocket for Sydney.
So 10 points the margin. One more from the Swans should do it. Nearly 26 minutes gone. They're right into attack. Two-handing it down Mumford. Hanbury can't track it cleanly. Mumford puts the body on the line to ensure the ball goes nowhere. Del Santo, he was upended front on. Then he goes to ground. He's a tough nut, Nick Del Santo. Playing his 60th game in the row. He gets up a bit shaken and stirred. 60 consecutive games and he looks okay now. And there'll be a ball up, 15 out from the Swans goal. 10-13, 73 to 9-9, 63. Third man up is McAvoy. Free kick, it's a Shepherd. Free kick, this will decide the game, you'd think. Worst way to decide the game. And it'll go to Mumford from the ruck infringement. He's 30 out, he can, you'd think, put it beyond doubt. What do we think?
Gee.
Well, if it's there, it's there. I haven't seen a replay.
Just such
after such
penalty,
tight footy, that's the disappointing thing, Rammer. It's just been so tough and tight, and something technical like that breaks it open. Gifts the sixer.
People are starting to leave even before he's had the shot at goal, Mumford. They're footy savvy, these New Zealanders. They thought Big Shane could kick the goal, and he does from point blank range. And you think Sydney are right now, 11-13, 79. They've suffered a fright though. The Saints 9-9-63. 27 gone, final quarter on Grandstand AFL at Wellington.
Look, we've seen so many third man up in the contest tonight, in the ruck contest. And then to pluck one out so late in the game, as the umpire has then, a very tough call and a very big penalty there for the Saints.
If they're there, they've got to give it, haven't they, Rammer? But just against the grain of the nature of the football that we've been seeing.
9 goal kickers, 2 boys for the Swans tonight.
Sydney by 16. Centre bounce. Armitage, though, with the clearance for St Kilda. Whacks it on his boot towards attacking 50. Ramp with a punch at the contest. It falls, though, for Jones of St Kilda. Hands to Montagna. Montagna's kick wide for the pocket, looking for Kazitsky. Just can't get there, and then it ricochets off the ground and into his chin, I think, and over the line on the outer side. And a throw in the left forward pocket for the Saints.
Question without notice, Rammer. He did 4 games for 200. Does he deserve to get there? There are no sentiments in the game.
Not on tonight's form, Dan, unfortunately.
Throwing in the pocket for the Saints. Robertson's tried hard. He slaps the ball around his body towards the goal mouth. McVeigh was there. Jones was close to him. It's toe poked towards defensive 50 for Sydney. Picked up by Goods, who quickly threw it on his boot. The ball rolling to the wing. Getting back there is Geary. He's tackled by Reid. McLean only needed to pick it up, and he had a free run at goal, but he couldn't pick it up. And Ross is back there for the Saints to pick it up. And he gives a hand pass to Dempster. Dempster's kick back to the outer wing. Straight though to McVeigh of Sydney, who hand passes to Kennedy. Kennedy from the wing puts Sydney back into attack. Goods flies the pack. Almost takes the mark. The 2-time Brownlow medalist kicks the ball around his body, but no one there except for Sam Fisher for the Saints, who takes the mark.
Saints defence has held up all right tonight. Revolt still working hard, marking at half back, kicks down the wing. All Richards backing into a pack, nearly took a great mark, but covered well at ground level. Handballs to Smith, forces a hand pass out to Jack, steps around to tackle, pops a kick over the top, and Parker, who's been superb, front edge centre square, takes the mark right half forward. He's got a player on his own on the outer side. It's Jetta, the sub, came on for Everett, and he marks further right half forward. So they lead 11-13-79 to 9-9-63. Kicks to the teeth of goal. Up goes Jude Bolton. Calf market spills to the back. Goods is there. Pushed himself forward, hoping Sam Fisher may have just given him a slight shove. Ball goes with him out of bounds beside the behind post at the northern end. John Lombard knows the siren's about to sound. He stands up in the coach's box. Tap down Mumford. Missed by Goods. Overrun by Hanbury. Siren! Sydney create history in the first match for premiership points in New Zealand. Crowd appreciate it. They've won by 16 points.
Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, Stars will go in and win overall. While the loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
Really tough match here at the Cake Tin in Wellington, and Sydney eventually prevailed. They led at every single change. One stage, 29 points in the final quarter. St Kilda stormed home with 3 consecutive goals. But Sydney, as is always the way, found a steadier, even though it might have been a free kick in the dying stages. And they win their 4th game of the season, the Premiers. But they're not going as well as they'd like.
The name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While the loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
So 11-13-79 to 9-9-63. And for the Swans, their goal kickers tonight, they had 9 of them. They shared them around. 2 each to McGlynn and Parker, one of their best. Individuals to McVeigh, Kennedy, Jack, Bolton, Goods, and also Mumford. Terrific effort by the Sydney Swans. St Kilda, their goal kickers tonight. Well, Nick Revolt was outstanding. He kicked a couple, as did Lee Montagna, including a ripper in the last quarter to really ignite them and keep them alive. And goals to Young Ross, Stephen, Trent Dennis-Lane against his old team, Jaron Geary, one of their best players tonight, and also Justin Kazitsky kicked the first goal, but fortunately for Cozzy, hasn't had a lot of match practice, didn't get a lot of it after that. So we see a 16-point win here for the Sydney Swans. We're about to have the presentation of the inaugural Simpson-Henderson Trophy, which acknowledges 2 men who embody the Anzac spirit as part of Anzac Day today. Both are part of the enduring image of carrying wounded on the back of a donkey during the Gallipoli campaign. And AFL International Development Manager, the former Hawthorn, Collingwood and Fitzroy player, Tony Woods, said the trophy represents the link between the 2 countries and the spirit of the match. So Sydney about to get their hands, guys, on the inaugural Simpson-Henderson Trophy, and we'll get down to the presentation in just a second. But from a New Zealand perspective, Tim, how do you reckon it went tonight?
Oh, look, I don't think we could have asked for a lot more. Absolutely perfect conditions, a great kept crowd, 22,000, and look, what ultimately was a pretty tight game. It looked like it might have blown out towards the end of the 3rd quarter, but the Saints stuck to it, and I suppose you could say they really showed some of the fighting qualities that embody the Anzac spirit.
And we probably had a lot of first timers seeing their first game of AFL football tonight. Locals in Wellington, and I'm sure they've left pretty happy. Let's get down to Craig Willis.
Wonderful game of AFL and the 2013 Toyota AFL Premiership season. Let's collectively thank both sides for putting on a wonderful display of Australian rules football. And I'd like to invite the St Kilda captain, Nick Revolt, to come forth and say a few words.
And unfortunately our news radio audience is going to leave shortly, so if you cut off mid-roo, our apologies, but let's hear from Nick Revolt.
Firstly, thank you to the magnificent crowd that turned out tonight. Wonderful achievement, get so many numbers here. We'll be back again, so we hope you enjoyed the show. To both football clubs and the Swans, we really respect you guys. And to all the service men and women from Australia and New Zealand, past and present, we thank you for your service. It was a real honour to come out and represent you on this wonderful occasion. So thank you very much.
And he had a terrific game, Nick Revolt.
Thank you, Nick. I'd now like to welcome the President of the
We'll say goodbye to our news radio audience with the news that the Swans have won the game by 16 points. Let's get back to Craig Willis.
Best exemplified the Anzac spirit, that of skill, courage in adversity, self-sacrifice, teamwork and fair play. And the winner of the Anzac Day medal is Dan Hanbury.
Yeah, well, this is his sort of stage, isn't it? Tough, hard, uncompromising. 30 possessions.
Yeah. 13 kicks, 17 handballs, 3 marks.
Very good player now.
First, I'd like to thank St Kilda. We respect the way you guys go about it. You've been a super side for a number of years. It was a tough battle tonight. Good luck for the rest of the year. To our guys, we need to keep going. Disappointing last week. Good to get on the winners' board again tonight. To our fans, thanks for coming out tonight. All the fans for that matter. Super spectacle, and let's keep going for the rest of the year.
Well done, Dan. I'd now like to invite Kieran Jack, co-captain of the Sydney Swans, and John Longmire, their coach, to receive the Anzac Day trophy from the Prime Minister of New Zealand, John Key. This is a perpetual trophy provided by the RSA in dedication to the memory of those who served in times before.
John Keane shaking the hands with Kieran Jack and John Longmire, and there's a photo that will live in the annals of the Sydney Swans Football Club and AFL House and anywhere Australian football has played forevermore on this historic night.
I'll be quick. I'd just like to thank the City of Wellington for getting behind this. Great idea, a fantastic support base. So thanks to all our fans for coming up, especially those from Sydney. To the St Kilda boys and our boys, a great idea, a really good show, so let's move on. Thank you.
Short and sharp by Kieran Jack.
Thank you, Kieran. Hope you've enjoyed the night, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our official presentation.
We have enjoyed the night, Craig, with the Swans having a 16-point win. Adam and Tim, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, look, it was a really, really scrappy affair, I think, from start to finish of that game. And look, it really played into Sydney's hands for me. That's the type of football they've played and we've seen for years and years. That's finals type pressure, the way that game's played. In tight, close, hard, lots of tackles, lots of scrappy kicks, pushing the ball forward, really digging in, really having to work hard for their goals. I don't think we've seen one Sydney goal where the forward let out and took a mark on the chest tonight. I think there may be one by Adam Goods early in the game, but other than that, there was just nothing. On the other hand, I thought St Kilda tried really hard. Look, at the end of the day, they were probably just outclassed. They had a very, very young side in who probably weren't just able to maintain that pressure for the 4 quarters. And that was the difference in the game for me. Sydney are able to maintain that standard of play in tight, in hard and in close for 4 quarters. The other part of the game that really disappointed me but really played into the Swans' hands is they kept the extra in defence the whole night. So St Kilda were driving that football forward on a number of occasions, and the amount of intercept marks that the Swans would have taken from St Kilda's long kicks inside 50, I think, almost could have been a record, because it just seemed to happen time after time. If it wasn't Richards, it was Grundy. If it wasn't Grundy, it was Malcheski. If it wasn't Malcheski, it was Matner. Their discipline in keeping their back six together for the entire game, I think, is what won the game for them. Because when we seen St Kilda in that last quarter stick the numbers forward and hold their forward structure, they were able to score. Because what was happening then on the flip side, Sydney were committing so many numbers back inside their defensive 50. They were kicking out. It was going straight to the St Kilda players, and they were pumping it back inside 50. But look, all in all, a terrific spectacle tonight, I think, for the people of Wellington, and the first game on foreign soil for 4 points. And I think, what a spectacle, what a place to play at. The ground, the atmosphere here tonight was terrific. The two clubs played in absolute great Anzac spirit, I feel, hard, tough and uncompromising, and I'm just very, very privileged to have been here tonight.
And Ramo, we came here tonight probably focusing on the theatre of it all, but the big football story was, Scott Watter said it himself, can we stay relevant? 1-4 now, St Kilda, with Collingwood next week, Carlton the following, and then a trip to Adelaide, and that's the next 3 weeks.
It could be 1-7, quite simply, and so. And look, St Kilda, they need to find some new players. They need to unearth some of these young guys. They need to just give them plenty of games. Nick Riewoldt, absolute sensational tonight. You know, he would have taken 12 or so marks, had 25 odd possessions. He was terrific, kicked the 2 goals. Lenny Hayes and Josh Kennedy had a terrific battle, I thought, in there. Clint Jones, I thought Jared McVeigh probably just edged him in the end. Just edged him, yeah.
It was a really good battle.
It was a great battle. Look, Dan Hanbury was terrific for the Swans. Obviously, Luke Parker had a terrific game also for the Swans, but it's a tough one for the Saints, I think, at the moment. What do they do? Do they continue to go down the path with, you know, obviously you're going to see Riewoldt, Hayes, you know, Fisher, Montagna, all those older guys, Del Santo continue to play, but the question marks now.
There was one, that was the one name that look, first week in, it's always hard at the start of a season, but you mentioned it a couple of times tonight. He just doesn't have the tank to be able to play the role required.
I thought they really missed Stevie Milne tonight. Stevie Milne's, you know, he's had obviously a sensational career for the Saints.
Well, he's been the bane in the side of the Saints, of the Swans. These two teams have actually played some really close footy.
They have,
5-5 in their last 10 coming in tonight. And last year, when the Saints won in round 9, Milne kicked 3. And even when Sydney won the game, by 29 points in round 17, Milne kicked 5 that night.
Well, they just lack that spark up forward, I think, when that football went. Saad tried hard, but I thought Nick Smith kept him under control the whole night. So it's a crossroad for the Saints now.
I think the problem for the Saints, and we talked about it at the time, is, you know, if Nick Riewoldt's taking kick-ins, he's marking it across the half-back line. There's just absolutely no second target. And, Cozzy, we mentioned him a couple of times in the first quarter, and I think we didn't mention him again until he gave away a silly free kick, and that's just a sign of a very experienced player getting frustrated. He knows he hasn't had any of the footy, and, you give away a silly free kick like that, there's just no target for him if Riewoldt's having to work so far up the ground to get a touch.
The problem with the Saints, they don't have many key position players that are actually coming on at the moment. They've got Reece Stanley, who, by the looks of things, they want to try to settle down as a key defender, which is fine. But then you flip it over forward, there's not much other than Nick Riewoldt, is there? And that's a real issue. You know, it's been Milne and Riewoldt that have kicked the majority of their goals for obviously the majority of their careers, and they need to find someone else. Look, Saab was okay last year in chipping in with goals, but they need to find someone else. They need to unearth someone. They need to unearth a youngster that can play forward, that can kick goals. I thought Brodie Murdoch done some really nice things in his first game today. Played half forward, took a couple of nice marks early, was able to get into play. Nathan Wright off half-back looks like he can play. Seb Ross looks like he can play. I think you just got to continue to pump games into these young kids now. Give them the experience, because in the Ross Lyon era at St Kilda, they were at the top of the ladder, so there was never many changes within the side. There was never much unearthing of new talent. So now's the time. Unfortunately, they could be 1-7, the Saints, as I said earlier, but they've got to keep persisting with these young players now, giving them the game time. Jack Stephen, David Armitage, these guys are still young. They're still the better side of 25. They're only 22 and 23, Stephen and Armitage, so they've got plenty of time. Big Benny McAvoy in the ruck's going to be a really, really good player in another couple of years' time. So a lot of questions and probably not enough answers for the Saints supporters at the moment.
If you've just tuned in, the final score on this historic night in Wellington, Sydney 16-point victors over St Kilda, the Swans 11-13-79 to the Saints 9-9-63. So the Saints did win that final term after Sydney took a 25-point lead into the last quarter. The Saints kicking 3 goals, 3 to Sydney's 2 neat in the last term, but the last goal of the game kicked by Shane Mumford to allay any fears for the Swans. And also earlier today, if you've been out enjoying Anzac Day and didn't get the final score from the MCG, Essendon 46-point victors over Collingwood. 18-13, 121 to Collingwood's 10-15, 75. David Zaharakis, 34 possessions, 4 goals, and he won the Anzac medal. Look, Tim, you might be able to just tell us a little bit about the AFL scene here in Wellington today. Rama, I think our listeners would like the experience that we had. We got in from the flight and it's like, okay, where can we go to try and take in some of the MCG game before we go and call the game tonight? And it was quite a good, it was easy, good vibe around town. You see AFL on footies on tellies in pubs and so forth around Wellington and New Zealand generally.
Yeah, the great thing today was that we had both of those games going live around New Zealand with Sky Sports.
Do they usually have?
No, we don't get any live footy.
Because
we get it delayed.
The Wellington game today, they beamed in the Essendon Collingwood game.
Yeah, and we get the live finals.
Yep.
But unfortunately, we just get delayed coverage, and I think that's one of the things the AFL are working very hard on to make sure that we can get some live coverage of those matches, because we all know that it's a fantastic product. No one will have left here from Wellington tonight having been disappointed by the spectacle. Yeah. They had a fantastic commemoration of the Anzac spirit. They had a great game. And I think in a lot of ways, St Kilda can take some things, as we said. Look, they might end up 1-7, but they certainly kept fighting, and you can't question their commitment around the footy, and not the result they were looking for. But
and just on the MCG today, Rama, are you a bit surprised with how the Bombers are tracking?
Look, absolutely, I'm surprised by that margin of 46 points, because those Anzac Day clashes there are usually unbelievably close. So, for the Bombers to really kick away there in that last quarter and win by such a margin, I think should be so pleasing for Bomber supporters, and shows that there's some real depth in that list at the moment for Essendon. We've got Essendon, I should say.
It's all right. It's all right.
No Hurd, no Fletcher, no Hurley, and no Ryder today. So a terrific result there by Essendon, and you say it, but are they a sneaky chance? I still think Sydney...
Well, should we name your colleague who's working for another station who's also a former Bomber man who dare talk about the window being open?
Well, no, let's out him, I think. It's Mark McVeigh.
Yeah.
He's saying Essendon's window is clearly open. I still think that they're probably the next run under the Swans, Hawthorn and Geelong. I think they're the three sides that at the moment I see just playing terrific football. Essendon, what's most pleasing for me is they've already played 2 interstate, and they've won those 2 interstate, and we know how hard it is to win those games. But today David Zaharakis, 34 possessions and 4 goals. What a game of football that he's played.
But it's like the great feast at the barbecue, and the sun's shining, but there's a black cloud coming at some point of the season. We just wait to see what happens with the Crime Commission and Asada.
Well, that's
with the
right.
footy club.
That's right. We know the issues that the club are having off the field, but I think what all the players can do is control what's happening on the field, and they're doing that at the moment. To their credit, they're not letting that be a distraction, because quite simply, it could be. They could just quite easily roll over and say, oh, look, there's too much going on. This is all too hard. We'll turn it up. But, to their credit, it's galvanised them. I think it's really galvanised them as a playing group, as a coaching group. And the results are showing you can actually see the care for each other that, I haven't seen for a long time in an Essendon team. They generally want to play for each other. They want to play for their coach, and they want to play for their supporters. And at the moment, they're getting the results.
And how often do we see that when a club in any sporting code is confronted by a bit of adversity? It really has such a galvanising influence.
It does.
The players come together. It's a bit of them and us mentality. They circle the wagons, and they're 5 on the trot.
And there's no better example than the Sydney Swans. I think the way they have gone about their football pretty much for the past decade. They've barely missed a final series. They win the grand final last year. It's an us against them mentality where they are stuck in Sydney in a rugby league dominated town. But You know,
which has its advantages,
yeah,
it must be said, having spent a lot of time north of the Murray covering the footy in Sydney and Brisbane, and you can see at times it's just been, the clubs don't have to.
No.
It's not like Richmond win a game and suddenly, they're going to finally make the finals. Whereas, what point of the season was it last year that we thought Sydney might be a real premiership threat?
Well,
late July, early August?
Can I pump up my own tyres?
Yeah.
I picked Sydney to win the premiership in round 5 last year.
Okay.
Anzac Day last year. I just like the way they were playing. But what I'm saying is their culture's famous, and that's what every other club aspires to be like in terms of their off-field and how they're just such a close-knit playing group. They're such a close-knit coaching group. They're such a close-knit football club, and I think that's what every other club aspires to be like. So, that's where that separates the haves and the have-nots, in my opinion. That solidarity off the field, the solidarity when you see it on the field, when the heat's really on, like tonight when the heat was really on, you just expected someone to do something for Sydney, and we've seen it on a number of occasions. Dan Hanbury backs back into a pack. Teddy Richards backs back into a pack.
Ryan O'Keefe at a stoppage just thought, I'm just going to get this.
That's right.
Just runs through the pack, and even though he didn't really make a telling stat, he just got it rolling towards half forward.
And how many times do we see the Sydney backline working really, really hard to get the ball? They get their hands on it, and who's there for the kick? Goodsy. You've got champions like that, and they just step up when they need to.
Just the discipline, and I said this, but the discipline of the way Sydney are able to play their game. They play such an unselfish style of football. Quite simply, those 6 defenders could have easily moved up the ground and gone chasing kicks tonight, but they held their structure all night, and so many of St Kilda's forward thrusts, they'll just able to take uncontested marks, take the football out the other side, and off they go. Or it was, Drew Bolton's head at the bottom of the pack, or Josh Kennedy's head at the bottom, and Dan Hanbury, who was sensational tonight and won the medal. The amount of times that he plays out on a wing here, but he's just at the coalface constantly, the way he goes about his football. So just a super football club. And look, they've still got a huge window open, and I'm talking a couple of years here, because their players aren't old at all. Adam Goods still looks like he's a sprightly 27, 28-year-old. Drew Bolton's kicked 10 goals and almost leading the goal kicking for the club. Their captain, Jared McVeigh, he's got better again. Kieran Jack, Ted Richards, he's taken off from where he was last year. Heath Grundy's so solid. Malcheski, Lewis Jetta's the problem at the moment. He's the one spark player. At the moment, he's lacking that. We've seen a couple of glimpses tonight when he came on in that last quarter, but they need more out of him. They need more, because we've seen last year there was that one passage of play on the wing where he burnt off Cyril Rioli, and that sparked the Swans, I thought, in that grand final.
And, of course, there is Kurt Tippett to come in, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah, well, Sam Reid's struggling immensely at the moment, as we've seen. He's dropping marks just straight through their hands. So they're lacking the target up there. Adam Goods, he probably should be playing as your third tall forward because of how athletic he is. So I think when you see Kurt Tippett come into this side, that just adds a whole nother dimension to him again.
Quentin Hull, Adam Ramanauskas and Tim Stevens with you from the Cake Tin in Wellington, talking through the matters of the day, and the score here, if you've just tuned in, Sydney 11-13 79 to St Kilda's 9-9 63, and at the MCG, Essendon defeated Collingwood by 46 points, 18-13 121 to Collingwood's 10-15 75. We'll hopefully get into the Swans' rooms shortly, but I can quickly just go through the team changes for the rest of round 5, starting with tomorrow night's big game in the West between Fremantle and Richmond. And the Dockers with 3 changes there, welcoming back McFarlane and Ibbotson. And Hanneth is a new player into the team for the Dockers, while the men out, Subin, Sutcliffe and Smith. While for the Tigers, White, Batchelor, Helbig and Vlastuin come into the team. Tuck out, rested apparently. Chaplin injured, Morris and Conker out of the team as well. So some key changes there ahead of tomorrow night's game. Manuka Oval hosts Greater Western Sydney and Gold Coast on Saturday afternoon, and a big number of changes for the Giants. Thornton into the team for the Giants. It'll be interesting to see if he has an effect. Thornton, Smith, Tomlinson, Plowman and Williams in, with Gillum, Miles, Townsend, Sumner and Frost all omitted from the Giants team to take on the Gold Coast, who welcome back a couple of key players. Danny Stanley and Trent McKenzie, having played a bit of twos footy, back in. So too Big Lynch, with Warnock out injured, Wilkinson injured, so there's two key defenders out for the Suns, and Russell out of the team as well. I'm assuming that's omitted, so that's an interesting move there. The Blues take on the Crows, and Eddie Betts is Jaws back and okay to go. Yep. So Eddie is into the team, with Aaron Joseph omitted for the Blues. That's just the one change for Carlton off the back of their win against West Coast last week. And for the Crows, Vincent Smith out of the team. Sorry, I've got that around the wrong way. Vincent Smith are into the team, with Porplesia omitted and Crouch out injured. And we were just speaking when we saw these came through, Rammer. It continues Brenton Sanderson's, well, penchant's probably the wrong word, but he has no fear of dropping senior players, with, of course, Graham Johncock having to fight his way into the team earlier in the year, and here's Jason Porplesia left out of this big game.
Look, I think he's looking for the right mix at the moment. Brenton Sanderson really, they're not in great form, the Crows. I think let's be honest about it. They beat the Western Bulldogs over at football.